Tubasun, if you are there, or virtually, if you can enable me to share my speech, that would be nice. But if it's not possible, I'll just go on and read my speech. I want to believe everybody can. Okay, I can now. Okay.
Yes, sir, we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me, or you can hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, cool. Yes. So, also quickly confirm you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well,
So just go ahead. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. I really appreciate that. So good morning, everyone. On behalf of ICAN Online Tutors, I would like to warmly welcome you to today's Open Day for the ISACA Certified Information Systems Auditor program. Thank you for taking the time to join us as we explore one of the most respected and globally recognized certifications in information systems auditing, governance, risk management, and cybersecurity. We are living in a digital age where organizations increasingly rely on technology to drive business operations. As a result, the demand for professionals who can assess risks, strengthen controls, ensure compliance, and protect critical information assets has never been greater. This is exactly where the CISA certification stands out. The CISA credential, awarded by ISACA, is recognized in over 180 countries and is widely regarded as the gold standard for information systems and auditing and assurance. Whether you aspire to work in internal audit, external audit, cybersecurity, IT governance, risk management, compliance, consulting, or digital transformation, CISA provides a powerful platform to accelerate your career. One of the most exciting aspects of obtaining the CISA certification is the global opportunities it unlocks. CISA holders are sought after by multinational corporations, consulting firms, financial institutions, government agencies, technology companies, and international organizations worldwide. Employers in the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States, the Middle East, Europe, Africa, and Asia actively seek professionals with CISA credentials because these credentials demonstrate a globally accepted standard of competence and professionalism. Beyond employability, CISA holders often enjoy higher earning potential, increased professional credibility, greater leadership opportunities, and enhanced career mobility across industries and geographical locations. In many organizations, CISA is considered a preferred or mandatory qualification for senior audit, risk, governance, and cybersecurity positions. However, obtaining a globally respected certification requires more than simply purchasing study materials. It requires structured learning, expert guidance, accountability, and a support system that keeps you motivated throughout the journey. This is where ICAN Online Tutors comes in. As ICAN Online Tutors, we are committed to helping professionals succeed. Our CISA program has been carefully designed to provide a comprehensive and practical learning experience. We offer experienced instructors, structured classes, detailed explanations of all 5 CISA domains, examination-focused strategies, revision sessions, practice questions, and continuous student support. Our objective is not merely to help you pass an examination, it is to help you understand the concepts, apply them in real-world scenarios, and become a competent professional capable of creating value in any organization. We understand that many of our of our students are working professionals balancing careers, family responsibilities, and other commitments. This is why our program is designed to be flexible, accessible, and supportive, allowing you to learn effectively while maintaining your professional and personal responsibilities. As you participate in today's open day, I encourage you to ask questions, engage with our team, understand the certification requirements, and explore how this qualification aligns with your career goals. Whether you are an accountant looking to transition into IT audit, an auditor seeking to expand your expertise, an IT professional aiming for governance and risk roles, or a cybersecurity practitioner looking to strengthen your credentials, CISA can be a transformative investment in your future. The future belongs to professionals who can bridge the gap between business, technology, risks, and governance. CISA equips you to do exactly that. Thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to supporting you on your journey toward becoming a globally recognized CISA professional. Welcome to the ICAN Online Tutors CISA Open Day, and we wish you a productive and inspiring session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that inspiring perspective. That's the CEO and founder of IOT Academy. The question that stands out, in a world of increasing compliance demands, what makes a truly valuable auditor? That's what our next speaker, Mr. Gustavo Frega, will unpack for us.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you also. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Gustavo.
Can you hear me all right? So, okay.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for inviting me for this CISA Open Day to ICAN. So, I'm Gustavo Frega, Senior Manager of Academic Strategy and Business Development at ISACA, and today I'm here to answer the fundamental questions that many of you may have. So, what is CISA? Why does it matter? And how can I shape CISA, your career, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a sec. Window. Let me know when you see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, yes, we can see it now.
Great, perfect. So in the next 25 minutes, we will explore what makes CISA a globally recognized credential, why organizations are actively seeking CISA professionals, and what is the path to certification looks like, right? Whatever you are in IT, compliance, risk management, any sector, these certifications opens door. So let's dive in, right? So we have 4 topics. First, I will start with what is ISACA, because even though you already know ISACA is part of CISA. We created CISA, right? So, and I want you to understand the real scope of the organization. Then we are going to talk about why credentials matter with concrete data from employers. After that, we will go through what is CISA and why this is important, right? And then I'll explain super quick the certification process, meaning how the exams works, what study materials you will have access to, right? And I know after this session, we have another one called Ask ISACA, but we can do everything together. So if at any point of my speech you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself, ask directly. And I'm saying this because I'm sharing my screen, meaning that I'm not going to see the chat, right? So let's start then. So who is ISACA? ISACA was founded in 1969, over 55 years ago, right? So it started as an Association of Information Systems Auditors, ISACA, right, in the United States. But today is one of the most important professional technology organizations in the world, with two sides. One of the biggest IT community in the world. Two, we are one of the top credentials body in the world. Our credentials like CISA, but others, for example, CSON, CGT, C-RISC, are one of the most important credentials in the world. And when you look at reports, independent reports, sorry, you will find ISACA credentials inside the top credentials, right? So we have now more than 195 active members worldwide. We have issued over 429,000 certifications. Let me add just one thing here, and is that this number is obsolete now. We are now surpassing 500,000 certifications awards, right? And we operate through 230 chapters all over the world, included local chapters in Nigeria and all over the world, right? And by the way, we work with more than 300 academic and corporate institutions around the world, which is exactly the kind of partnership we have with ICAN, right, for this program. So I want to keep this in mind. So we are a non-profit professional association. We are not a training company, not a consultancy. Again, we are a community of professionals who creates the standards for IT, cybersecurity, risk, and audit. ISACA operates across 4 domains, and I'm showing them here because I think it's important you to have the 360 degrees view, right? So the first one is IT governance, which is related to how an organization makes technology decisions in a structured way, how it ensures technology serves its business objectives, right? And by the way, the central framework here is COVID. I know this is not related to CISA, but I want you to have the whole picture, right? The second one is cybersecurity. No need more for much explanation here, protecting digital assets, infrastructure, and it's the fastest growing area in the IT sector right now, right? Third one, risk management, identifying, assessing, and responding to technology-related risk. And the fourth is IT Audit, right? So the independent review of technology controls, process, and compliance. And this is highly, highly relevant for anyone in any sector, right? Okay, so why credentials matter? This is about CISA. CISA belongs to ISACA, but credentials matters no matter the credential body you choose, right? So, and I want to talk about data, because sometimes you hear that credentials are important, and I think you are on the same page I was, and you just wonder if that's just marketing, right? So let me show what employers actually say, right? So we do have one annual research called ISACA State of the Industry Research, right? And this data comes from there. So 88% of employers says that an ISACA credential strengthens a candidate application. That is not a marginal advantage, huh? It is something nearly all employers consider relevant. Again, 88%. 74% says credentials enhance job performance. And again, this is important. They don't just help you get the job. They make you better once you're there, right? And 65%, which is nearly 2/3 of employers, report difficulties finding qualified candidates. That means that demands for professionals with credentials like CISA, it's really, really big, right? credentials are moving from a differentiation to the baseline requirement. And I'm really think that we are at that inflection point right now, right? Where we are seeing that. Okay. And by the way, these show ups that ISACA holds 5 of the 15 top paying IT credentials in the world. And also I didn't include there CISA because I think it's important you to know that CISA it's different all over the world, but those are average salaries for CIRISC and CISA, right? So why CISA matters now more than ever. So let me start with a reality check, right? So organizations today are facing a lot of pressure, more regulations than ever, more technology complexity than ever, more risk. And yet, according to our research, cybersecurity talents remain scarce, right? So this isn't a technology problem, it's a talent governance problem. So what is CISA? So CISA stands for Certified Information Systems Auditor. And again, it's a globally recognized professional credential that validates expertise in information systems auditing, control, and governance. Let me break that down, right? So first, it's for IT auditors and control professionals. If you are responsible for evaluating whether an organization's IT systems are secure, compliant, and operating efficiently, CISA speaks your language, right? We are talking about people who audit networks, assess controls, verify compliance, and provide governance guidance to leadership. Again, super important, right? So we are talking with leadership. Second, and this is something I already said, it's recognized worldwide. Organizations across every continent and every industry recognize and trust CISA. It's not a niche credential. It's a credential for all industries, right? Third, it's standard-based. CISA is aligned with best practices and recognized frameworks like COVID, ISO, and NIST guidelines, right? When you are in CISA, you are demonstrating that you understand and can apply industry-leading governance principles. In fact, CISA is the only global recognized professional credential specifically designed for information system auditors. And this is important. It's not a security certification, right? It's an audit one. So it's built for people who audit systems. Sorry, I'm here. So now let's talk about careers. So one of the most powerful things about CISA is that it opens doors across roles and sectors. You could be an IT auditor, meaning again, someone who evaluates IT systems, controls, compliance, blah, blah, blah. So your job is to walk through an organization, understand the systems, identify gaps, and provide recommendations. Organizations pay for this expertise. Let me say this again. Organizations pay for this. Second, you could be a compliance manager, right? So remember, we are living in a regulatory environment, right? So meaning that the organization needs people who understands compliance frameworks, can navigate GDPR in Europe, SOX, NIS2, and every single regulations all around the world, right? And also they need to translate these regulations into operational controls. This is compliance management with CISA. Or you could move into a risk executive role. This is where you lead enterprise risk strategy, advise the board on governance, and these are director level and C-suite positions, right? So the point is this. CISA opens a spectrum of career paths. You are not locked into one role. Your certification moves with you as your career evolves. And the compensation reflects the value, right? So CISA professionals command competitive salaries no matter where you are based, right? You have global opportunities. Organizations everywhere everywhere need people who can audit and govern IT systems, and you have industry recognition that sets you apart from your peers, right? So let me ask you a rhetorical question. And how many of you in this meeting are thinking about your next career move? Right? So CISA shows career mobility is real. So let me pivot and talk about why organizations desperately need CISA professionals. So governance, that's the key word. In a world where IT systems makes decisions that impact business outcomes, organizations needs assurance, needs compliance, and needs security. That's what CISA professionals provide. Right? Specifically, CISA professionals ensure that IT systems align with business objectives, which is great. You don't just implement controls, you ensure those controls support what the business is trying to achieve. That alignment is governance. They verify compliance with regulations, and there is a lot of regulations now. I already mentioned some of them, right? So, and remember, the AI is here, right? So AI is not the future, it's a reality now. So a CISA professional can map those regulated requirements to actual controls, including AI, right? And audit whether organizations are truly compliant, right? They identify control gaps, recommend improvements. They don't just find problems, they provide solutions. That's consulting level value. And they drive digital trust. And this is increasingly important. Customers, regulators, and stakeholders want to know, can I trust the organization I'm working with? CISA professionals are the people who build and verify that trust. And here is the key insight, right? CISA is not just for IT specialists. It's essential for anyone responsible for organizational risk, control, and governance in a regulated environment. That includes risk managers, compliance officers, internal auditors, and even members of audit committees who needed to understand these concepts.
For understanding your career goals and motivations, but a lot of this hard work that we do.
I'm sorry, is someone asking something?
Also stuff that you want to write in your resume. So when we do the resume piece and we talk about how you describe yourself, you want those strengths to shine out. When you're asked this question,
Tutors, can you disable the mics for all other people so that we don't get distracted? Thank you.
That's me now. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Yeah. So why are we talking now about all this now, right? And why we having this CISA Open Day for you? Because demand for CISA professional is accelerating. You need to understand this. Digital transformation is increasing the complexity of control environments. Organizations are moving to cloud. Well, they are already in the cloud, right? So they are implementing AI, they are integrating dozens of third-party systems. Each of these introduce new control challenges, right? And who understands this? Auditors with deep governance expertise. Again, regulatory frameworks are expanding. GDPR needs to, AI Act, and this comes from Europe, but it applies everywhere, right? So requiring organizations to manage IT risk at a board level. These regulations create a mandate for governance professionals. Board level governance is becoming a priority. Let me say this again. Board level governance is becoming a priority. Boards are asking tougher questions about cyber risk and IT governance. And by the way, depending on which geography are you located, the board is legally responsible if something happens. Legally responsible, right? So organizations need advisors who can speak that language. And again, that's a CISA professional at the table. Cybersecurity breaches, we all know about this, right? So every major breach makes board less tolerant of gaps. And also there is a skills gap. We simply don't have enough qualified audit professionals to meet the band, meaning that if you are in CISA, you are entering a field where your skills are going to be needed. This is a real opportunity for you. So path to CISA, right? So what does it take? So how do you become a CISA certified? So let me walk you through the journey. So first, requirements, right? So you need to have work experience in IT audit or control. Remember, this isn't an entry-level credential. This is for top people, right? You need to have work in the field, and the exact requirement depends on your education background, right? But think 3 to 5 years of hands-on experience. You also need educational credentials, meaning bachelor's degree or professional certifications that count towards the requirement, right? I'm not going to the specifics because we review every single application individually, right? But the idea is that we require a demonstrated foundation of knowledge, right? Then comes exam, 150 multiple choice questions, 4 hours to complete. It's not easy. Let me say this. Because it's designed to validate that you can audit complex IT systems and governance frameworks. I think that during the day, we will have professionals with CISA that are going to tell you more about this. But again, it's not easy. But with proper preparation, it's absolutely achievable, right? Proper preparation, you can do it. And once you're certified, it's not set it and forget it. You need to maintain your credential through CPs, continuing professional education. This means that you need to prove that you are updated in your professional. And that's actually strength, because your certification stays relevant because the profession stays ahead of the curve, right? So the process itself is designed to ensure that CISA professionals are doing the work, not just holding a certificate, right? Let me show you where CISA professionals work, and it's across the global economy. These are only examples, right? Financial services, healthcare, technology, government, manufacturing, energy, utilities. My point with this slide, wherever there is complex IT, there is a need for audit and governance professional. And CISA is the recognized credential in all of these sectors. Let me talk about super quick about the regulatory environment now. I already mentioned this, but I think this is creating urgency for CISA professionals. GDPR in Europe, NIS2, DORA, EUA Act, all of these regulations don't execute themselves. Rules on paper mean nothing. We can put everything we want on a paper, right? And this means nothing without professionals like you who can translate these rules into controls, audit those controls, and verify compliance. That's why CISA professionals creates value. Organizations need you to help them navigate this landscape. So how to earn your ISACA credentials? I'm saying this again because I want you to keep this in mind, right? So first of all, ICAN is going to provide the courses. That's, let's say, step number 0, right? Number 1 or number 2, if you want, you need to study. You need to study. Then you need to practice. We are going to provide, with the bundle you are going to get from ICAN, we are going to provide Q&A, questions and explanations, and labs, right? So you need to be prepared, and you only do that by studying and practicing. Then you register and sit for the exam, and then you earn your credential. So finally, I want to leave you with this. Your next chapter is CISA, and CISA again is more than a certification. It's a credential that signals your commitment to excellence in governance and control, your ability to drive organizational resilience, and your readiness to lead in a digital risk-aware world. And remember this, the opportunity is now, not tomorrow, not in a few months, not the next year, now, because organizations across the globe are actively seeking CISA professionals to strengthen their control environments. So thank you. So I think we have now some time for questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That's it. And if someone has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask whatever you want.
Okay, thank you so much, Gustavo. Sorry, just hold on. Thank you so much, Gustavo, for that. That was very educative and enlightening. And thank you for everyone that has joined. So in order to not to make this rowdy, if you have questions, just raise your hands and I can see some hands raised. And I also have a question myself, but I will let other go and come last. So I will start with Presley Yumo. I will let Essay, you can take over from there anyways, but raise your hands if you have questions so that you don't make it rowdy.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Mr. Frega, for the training. Just a few questions, please. Yes, you're welcome. Does the certificate expires? First question. Second question, what is the cutoff mark in passing the exam? What is the cutoff mark in passing the exam? Then thirdly, what is the reward for the certification? I mean, in terms of the amounts employers pays for being certified. And lastly, can you please send us the materials of your training at the end of this training? Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to answer some of these questions, right? So number one is, the certification expires? Yes and no. I mentioned this during my speech. So once you earn the credential, right? The credential has one requirement that needs that you need to prove that you are updated every single day. Every single year. Sorry for that, right? And you need to prove that by attending courses, by attending conferences, by publishing white papers, by collaborating with some entities, and you need to send those proof that you do that to ISACA. If you don't do that, we are going to revoke your credential, right? I think that's answer number one. Then you ask something about the cost. So this is something that ICAN is preparing. So maybe in terms of money, I think I can answer you these questions, but maybe not now. I think, but I'm not sure how you want to handle this, Rachel. And I'm sorry, Presley, because I think you have another one, but I didn't hear it that well. Can you repeat it, please?
Okay, what I said is that what is the reward of certification in terms of what the employers pays after being certified?
What the employers thinks?
Did you get me, please?
I can hear you, but I'm afraid I'm not understanding the question. So you mean what the employers thinks about once they have the credential?
Okay, no. What I mean is the minimum amount that could be paid to a certified system. The minimum amount paid by employers, the minimum.
Okay, firstly, I think you are breaking, but let me explain to Gustavo. So what is actually asking is like, is the salary range for a certified?
I get it now. I get it now. So salary range, and this is global average. Global, please don't think that this is going to be the salary every side in the world. This is a global average. For CISA is starting the range is between $120,000 and $160,000 per year. That's average salary. So if you ask me, Europe, it's a little less than that. It's more close to 100 and 120, right? Middle East is above that. You can find into the Middle East, Dubai, UAE, Jordan, salaries up to $200,000 per year. Yeah, that's kind of what the employers are paying for people with this certification.
Thank you
Did
very
I answer
much.
your question?
Yes,
sorry,
correctly.
last one. About the materials, I think ICAN is going to share the materials with you. I mean, my presentation is, you can use it, you can have it, no worries about that. Yes, I'll share this with ICAN and then they will share it with you if they want.
Great, it's time.
I think next one is Muhammad, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Good morning, Mr. Freda. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. My question is about, I've seen that for you to be certified, you must have 3 to 5 years experience. So the 3 to 5 years experience, is it pre-exam or post-exam?
That is a great question.
Yes. And how can educational waivers be applied to that experience?
It's a brilliant question, and thank you for asking that. So what we have, right, is that yes, you need to have that professional experience to earn the final badge, right? In order you to say I'm a CISA professional, sorry, I have the CISA credential badge, you need to have that experience. So the good thing starts here. This experience is not required to sit to the exam, it's not required to pass the exam, and it's not required to earn the first CISA badge. So what is going to happen is that you again attend the course with ICAN, study, practice, pass exam, right? Let's say you have passed exam. So we are going to ask you for this professional experience. If sorry, if you don't have that, no worries, nothing happens, because we are going to give you the associate badge, meaning CISA associate. What is this? This is a badge from ISACA that you can use. It's one of our products. Is, let's say, the starting point of CISA for those who don't have the experience, right? But has the knowledge, which is great, by the way, because you can say to the employers, hey, I already have the knowledge, right? And then we are going to give you an extra 5 years for you to prove that you are going to earn the experience. Meaning, in the next 5 years, you will send us your professional experience and we are going to evaluate it, and then we are going to give you the final batch, right, of CISA. But no worries, again, if you don't have the professional experience, that's also great, because you are going to become CISA associate. And this is going to speed up your career also, because what the employers are looking now is someone with the knowledge, and then on top of that, someone with experience. Let me clarify one thing here related to the previous question. CISA associate professionals, the salary rank is not that much because it's a junior stage, right? But yeah, thank you for your question. So I think, let me check who is the next one. I think is Odiet.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. My question is, you talked about the experience, 5 years experience. Prior to this, this meeting, this presentation, I researched, and they said from the search, I got to know that if you studied, say, any IT course like computer science, I did computer science, and they said you can be waived from 2 years of the 5 years experience. So I want to confirm if that's true.
That is correct, yes.
So for me, that the computer science, I would just need 3 years experience.
That is correct.
To complete the 5 years.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Then my second question is, okay, what preliminary certifications or degrees do we need to take the exams? Must you be a university graduate? Must you have some level of educational background to take this exam?
You mean the CISA exam, right?
Yes, sir, the CISA exam.
Yeah, so well, that's a good question too. So let me be honest with you. There is no requirement. So and also having a computer engineering degree doesn't guarantee you that you will pass the exam. But again, as I mentioned before, something related with IT, with auditing, and with risk, those three fields I think are the most important if you are thinking about having previous academic experience with this. But again, if you don't study the specific materials, there is no chance. Well, maybe yes, but I think it's going to be super complicated for you, not for you specifically, but for everyone to pass the exam.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So who is the next one? Angela.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for your presentation. I just have one question. I'm just curious to find out, is there a provision, assuming one doesn't pass the exam at the first stage, is there a provision that you can retake the exams?
So yes and no. So it's going to be, there is a retake fee, right? And this is, and Rachel, please feel free to jump if you want, right? But the idea is to include at least one retake in your bundle. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Who is next? Adeyemi.
Yeah, well done, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please, my question is for one in external audit, for one that has been doing external audits for close to 3 years now. The experience for CISA, is it a prerequisite that since I've not been practicing as an IT auditor, but I've been into external auditing, so is the external audit going to count for me when I want to be given the certificate or something like that?
So the answer is yes.
What's the answer, please?
So I mean, I think the answer is yes.
Okay. The second question is, we have so many persons that are interested in writing the exams, but in one or two ways they could be financially constrained. Understand? Is there a kind of maybe scholarship scheme? It might not be full.
This is a question for ICAN, not for me. I'm sorry. But if you, I think maybe this is something to discuss offline, right? So I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question. Sorry.
Okay. Why I ask, because my district where I belong to, the ICAN district I belong to, at least for members or for students that are interested in writing ICAN exam, they have a kind of assistance they render to them. Understand? In as much as sometimes you can have bright students, but at the end of the day, they might be constrained financially. Understand? So that's why I'm trying to ask that question.
It's a great question and a fair question, but I'm afraid I don't have an answer for that. But
yeah,
happy.
So, yeah. So Adeyemi, you can chat our customer support team later. Yeah, that question is actually for us, not for Gustavo.
Yeah, no, but it's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So next one, and I'm going to ask you. I mean, I don't want to write to speed up things, but we have 3 more, and conscious of the time because we have a full day, right? Maybe we can answer these 3, and then if you have anything else to ask, please feel free to contact me through email or LinkedIn or through ICAN, right? So I'm sorry, Chidemuga. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's you. Good morning.
Sorry?
Adeyemi, just hold on. We'll come back to you.
I
Bruno,
thought Adeyemi was done. Sorry.
Good morning.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, good morning, sir. It's Bruno. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, Bruno.
Yeah, what I wanted to ask, sir, is there any waiver for ICAN members? That's number one. Is there any physical center to write the CISA exam? And can it be taken online? And is there any physical tutorial center or something online, official from you people? That's what I want to ask.
I'm sorry, because I'm not hearing you that well. Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can. Yes, sorry.
Okay, I want to ask, is there any waiver for ICAN members, those that have ICAN membership? Is there any waiver for them in terms of the level for the CISA, where they will now start at a particular level? That's number one. Then here in Nigeria, do we have physical centers to write the exams? Do we have physical centers? And then what are the fees and all that?
Got it.
How much are the fees and all that?
So number one, it's a question for ICAN, right? I don't have an answer for that. Number two, the answer is absolutely yes. So we work with one third-party organization called PSI, and you can perform your exam online or in place. So once you decide to sit for the exam, you will find the website is going to ask where are you located, and it's going to show you the nearest exam center in case you want to take the exam in person.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, Gustavo. The other question, as regards taking classes, yes, we provide the classes for you, and as regards using, if ICAN, there's any waiver for ICAN members, so there's no waiver because CISA is a one-level examination, so it's not like ICAN that has multiple levels. It's just one single exam you're going to take, and once you pass it, you become certified. So there's no any waiver. You have to take the exam, and it's just one exam, just one level. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So maybe later now you talk about the fees and all that.
Yes, just hold on to the program. One of our team members is going to talk about all that. Just continue following the program. Yeah.
Thank you, Bruno. So next one is the Suyi. And please apologize because I think that I'm saying all your names wrong. Please apologize in advance.
No, you're actually saying them the correct way. Good try.
I'm saying it wrongly. I'm saying all the names wrong.
Ayushi, you're next.
Adesuyi Oyeyemi. Adesuyi Oyeyemi. Are you there?
Okay, good morning, sir. Yeah, I'm here.
Now we can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, my question is this. You said one of the experience needed to write the exam is that you have to have audit experience or IT experience. I'm a chartered accountant. I don't have IT experience. I don't have audit experience. Can I still write the exam? Can I pass? Or what are the prerequisite knowledge I need to get?
Absolutely, yes. And please, if I said that you need that to sit for the exam, I say it wrong. I was trying to say that when you can sit for the exam, absolutely, right? When I was talking about those requirements, those were for, in terms of professional experience, to earn the badge. The badge. Again, as I mentioned before, if you don't have that professional experience, no worries, nothing happens. Once you take the exam, you will have the CISA-certified badge, and you will need to prove your experience in the next 5 years.
So is it going to be easy for us that doesn't have IT experience to write the exam and pass?
If you take the courses, you study and practice, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because remember, 4 hours exam. I'm not saying this is easy, and I think it's going to be complicated, but not impossible. And also, let me add one thing here. During the day, we are going to have more people with CISA, meaning CISA holders, and I think they are more adequate to answer your question. Let me talk you about me, just for 1 sec, about myself, right? So I don't have CISA, but I have other credentials, and none of them were easy. That's a reality. I failed a couple of attempts when I was trying to get my CISM. Couple of attempts, meaning that I get it after at my third attempt, right? But if I did it, anyone can, including you, because I'm absolutely sure that all of you here are more intelligent and better than me. So go for it. That's my advice. Don't be afraid of that. Is there any other question, Adesuyi?
No, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. So next one, it's Adeyemi again?
Yeah, please. I want to ask again. This I don't know if you can just further educate us concerning the job mobility of CISA. Though I know it's a global certification, but when we're talking about the job mobility, how easy is it for you to maybe navigate from one country to the other? Then the remote, are there remote jobs that has to do with CISA?
Absolutely. That's one. Remote jobs, absolutely yes. Remember that I think maybe not the only one, but one of the few things that was good from the pandemic was the ability to work remotely, right? So yes, global companies are hiring remotely. That's answer to question 2. Answer to question 1. How about the mobility? The answer is yes, but meaning that a lot of companies are open to hire people from abroad, but not every one of them are open to pay for your visa or this kind of things, right? But yes, I mean, I'm seeing this every single day, every single place. So I think it's a great opportunity to work remotely. So conscious of the time, last 2, right? It's going to be Olagoroye and then Victor, and we are going to finish here because otherwise we are going to have like 1,000 questions, and I'm happy to answer every single question, but I can plan a great date for you, and we need to give more space for everyone. So Olagoroye,
the last
next.
One.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Gustavo. Sorry, Adi, I mean, you won't be able to take further questions because he has other commitments also. So, but you can be rest assured that we will compile your questions, and anyone we can't answer ourselves, we will send him to him so that he can give us a response to them. So sorry to every other person that won't be able to take your Gustavo won't be able to take further questions, but we also have CISA-certified tutors with us at this event today, and they will be able to answer some of your questions. Thank you very much, Gustavo. I really appreciate your time and efforts and everything. Gustavo is in the US, so this time is also not so convenient for him and everything.
Oh, it's okay. No worries. I'm in Spain. I'm in Spain right now, but it's okay.
Okay, you're not in Spain. Oh, okay, cool.
It's okay. It's early morning for me, so no worries. But I just wanted to highlight again that there are more people for you, that with more answers for you and more experience, and I think that they deserve that your time. So again, 2 more, I think, and with that, if you're okay, we can.
You can take 2 more if you're available. Yeah, I didn't know you were in Spain.
No, I am available. No, I have time. So Lagoroye.
Okay, so we just take these 2 more from Aziz and Olagoroye, and Victor now goes in Austin Oko. So Aziz, please go then.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Yeah.
Yes.
My question is for candidates coming from a finance or audit background, what CISA exam domains should we prioritize, and how can we prepare for the more technical IT control and information system topics? That's my first question. And my second question is how can someone without a deep IT background bridge the knowledge gap before sitting for the CISA exam?
But different people, right? So remember, CISA exam has, CISA credential, 5 domains, right? IT auditing, governance management, IT systems acquisition, development and implementation, and information systems operations and business resilience, and protection of information assets. So from someone with audit background, I think that number 1, information system auditing process, that's easy. Well, not easy, more easy for you, right? Number 2, governance and management of IT. I think you may need to focus there. Number 3, information systems acquisition, development and implementation. I think that's something that you can cover with your experience. Number 4, information systems operations and business resilience, definitely something to focus on. And number 5, protection of information assets. That's going to be tough. That's more or less an answer to your question. That was number 2. Number 1. Number 2, sorry, you can you repeat the question, please?
I said, how can someone without a deep IT background bridge the knowledge gap before sitting for the CISA exam?
And again, attending the ICAN courses. Number 2 is study. Number 3, prepare the exam with Q&A that we are going to provide with ICAN, right? Questions, answers, and explanations. But also number 4, and this is not related to study. This is not related. So part of the agreement that ISACA and ICAN has is that when you become an official CISA student with ICAN, right, we are going to give you access to the ISACA community, right? So with that, you are going to have access to white papers, research, but also, and I think this is more important, you are going to have access to our mentorship program for free, right? So meaning that you are going to have access to CISA professionals that can help you prepare the exam with or without experience. So use those resources, again, ICAN, all the study materials, questions and explanations, but also the ISACA community. And with that, I think you will be prepared independently if you have or not have the experience. And again, I know I'm saying this too much. I don't want you to feel that I'm not encouraging you to pass this. This is not an easy task, but if you succeed and you are going through, you will find that the outcome is going to be great for your careers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think we have a last one from Victor, right? But I'm not sure if Victor is here anymore.
Yes, Mr. Victor.
Okay, Mr. Victor. Okay, let's go ahead then.
Go ahead, Victor, please.
Mr. Victor, you can unmute your mic.
Saying I've gotten the answer I needed from the last speaker. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you. Thanks.
Perfect then. So again, please, if you have any other questions, please reach ICAN team, and then if this is related to me, more than happy to answer your questions. You can find me on LinkedIn, Gustavo Frega at ISACA. More than happy to connect there. And I think, Idowu and Rachel, if you are okay, we can move on. I'll be here, not for the whole remaining session, but at least for the next 20-30 minutes. I'll be here, so you can text me whatever you want, right?
Okay, sure, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gustavo.
Thank you.
So over to you, Rachel. Then.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Riomi, are you here?
Mr. Your mind.
Mr. Riomi, please confirm if you can unmute your mic. Ms. Catherine, so sorry, our question and answer session has ended. After the next speaker, you can ask your question.
Okay, Rachel, what's next on the agenda while we wait for Mr. Riomi to confirm if he's available?
Okay, so thank you, everyone. We saw how everybody was eager to ask their questions.
Sorry,
so
can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Apology for that. I've actually been talking. I don't know that the mic is still muted.
You can turn on your video, Mr. Riomi, please.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for that wonderful, and thank you so much, Mr. Frega, for the beautiful one. I would have we have also seen that learning CISA isn't just about the credentials, as actually been explained. It is actually a mindset. It is a commitment to integrity, resilience, and also the impact that CISA actually brings. So let's quickly carry this into our next section. And our next section will actually be to be asking some ISACA question and answer as already been answered by Frega. While we shall be moving to the next section, which is everything you need to know about CISA. And the person that is actually going to do that for us is no other person than Mr. Awa Omaka. Mr. Awa, good afternoon. Are you here today? Good morning, Mr. Omaka.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes,
so
thank you very
Mr.
much.
Awa Omaka is actually a certified CISA, MBA, and IT Audit Manager from a reputable organization. And Mr. Awa actually lives and breathes CISA. So it's not just certified. It's just not certified. He has built some careers that's actually leverage on that CISA. And he's here today to actually give us the practical, unfiltered truth about what it actually takes to be a CISA certified. Mr. Awa, good morning. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you very much. And thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you, everyone. I would like to share my screen so that we could get started.
All right, sir. That's allowed.
Okay. So please confirm you can actually see my screen.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you very much. To begin, I would like to address a question somebody asked, right? So first of all, my name is Awa Omaka, and I am currently the unit head of IT Audit at Avon HMO, which is a subsidiary under Hayes Holding. And then prior to that, I was the acting head of audit at Port Harcourt Disco before I also moved to Ikeja Electric, which is the largest disco in West Africa, as the head of IT Audit as well. So that basically speaks to how you can transition, through different sectors. Even as we speak right now, I have friends who are CISA holders and who are also outside the country. Some are in Poland, some are in the UK. So to start with, I have, I'll call it a rhetorical question, because when people talk about CISA, they say, how much would they pay me if I pass the exams? And I want to say this, don't chase money, chase value. The question you should be asking yourself is, are you ready to adapt or be left behind, pretty much like the dinosaur you see on the screen? Now, let's get into the presentation. One of the questions I get asked, just like, somebody asked something similar. What exactly will I be tested on in the CISA examinations? And just like Gustavo had alluded to earlier, there are 5 domains in the CISA examinations, and they cut across, 5 domains. The first is information systems auditing process, and that takes about 18%. The second is governance, management of IT, that also takes 18%. The third domain is information systems acquisition, development, and implementation. That basically speaks to SDLC. That takes up about 12%. The fourth domain is information systems operations and business resilience, 26%. And the final domain is protection of information assets, 26%. Now, if you look at the weighting, you understand that domains 4 and 5 alone accounts for about 52% of the entire examination, which basically makes them critical area for every candidate to prepare. All right. Now we'll go ahead to look at these domains one after the other. Now, the first domain, which is information system auditing process, is basically the foundation of the CISA examination. So at a high level, we're looking at, how do you plan your audits? Note that your IT audits are risk-based because, first of all, there are limitations. You don't have all the money. You don't have the you don't have time, and so you have to adopt a risk-based audit approach when you're doing IT audits. Domain 1 also covers things like conducting the audit work itself, which is the field work. Somebody alluded to being an external auditor. I mean, these are basically some of the things they also go through. You gather evidence and you evaluate the strength of that evidence you have gathered. You perform audit sampling. But typically in IT audit, especially where you have tools, which is the use of data analytics, we do not advise sampling, especially when you have CAT. CAT stands for Computer Assisted Audit Techniques. In IT auditing, we have several, auditing tools for data analytics. We have Teammate, we have ACL, that's Audit Command Language. We have IDEA, we have Abo tools, and similar data analytics tools. So when you have audit tools like that, you can actually do 100% of the entire population rather than do sampling. And then when you're done gathering, evaluating your evidence, doing your data analysis, how do you communicate your findings effectively to your stakeholders? And of course, finally, you have the professional standards and ethics that you must adhere to. So basically, this domain 1 is the foundation of the CISA certification. And in practice, it basically helps you to answer questions such as, was the audit properly planned? What is the reliability or sufficiency of the evidence you have gathered? And are your conclusions supported by facts, right? Now to domain 2. Domain 2 is basically at a high level because the board of directors and executive management depend increasingly on IT governance, and they want to be sure that their investments in technology deliver value while minimizing risk. And so we're looking at things like IT governance. How does the organization manage risk at an enterprise level? What is your IT strategy? Because your IT strategy is supposed to help advance, it's supposed to be aligned with business goals. How do you ensure compliance with regulation? Because virtually all industries in and outside Nigeria are all regulated. What is the organizational structure? How do you manage data governance? How do you deal with third parties? And how do you measure IT in terms of performance, in terms of how they deliver value to the organization? And that is what domain 2 speaks to, right? Well, domain 3, like I said earlier, speaks to
Systems acquisition, development, and implementation, this accounts for 12%. Now, this looks at how companies acquire, develop, or test or deploy their information systems. And of course, at a high level, it will cover project governance, how they manage the project itself. We'll look at the business cases. We'll look at system development lifecycle. That is where they are developing their own solution in-house. We'll look at agile development. Change management deals with how, when you've already put a solution into use, if you want to tweak or make changes to suit your business environment. We'll look at testing of that solution. We'll look at data migration. We'll look at post-implementation reviews. And if you look at the bottom left, I have actually itemized a couple of companies that have lost billions in dollars. Target in Canada, for instance, due to a failure in how they implemented SAP, they basically lost about $5 billion dollars. Skybank, and I think this is what led to the failure of Skybank in Nigeria. A 700 million capital inadequacy led to their merger with Polaris Bank. If you look at Nike i2, which is the apparel arm of Nike, they also had a failure in their SAP rollout, which cost them 100 million in sales. And of course, Hershey also lost 100 million in sales due to failure in ERP rollout. For post-implementation reviews, there's something I've found even in practice, and I'll give you a clear example. Some time ago when I was in the energy space, a new solution was implemented, and basically audit was not carried along. But at some point, the owners of the business wanted us to do like a post-implementation review. And interestingly, during that review, we found out that, over 100,000 customers had not been migrated to the new system. And in business terms, what that meant was over 2 billion naira in lost revenue and in, accruals for the business, right? So it's important that as CISA professionals, we're able to help companies ensure that projects deliver expected business value while maintaining, adequate controls. Now, the fourth domain speaks to information systems, operations, and business resilience. If you look at what happened during COVID, this is the core of COVID. And topics here would basically cover IT operations, how to manage IT assets, change management, configuration management. When there's an incident within an organization, how do you manage it? How do you manage capacity? SLA with third parties, how is it managed? How do you manage database? How do you manage your backup and recovery? And then how do you also ensure that when there's an emergency, how do you ensure that you can recover from the backup that you have kept in a safe location? Okay, so that is basically what this domain looks at, because organization basically has to continue in perpetuity. So even if there's a cyber attack, you would have learned recently how the CAC was hacked, and that also affected Remita and all of that. When companies go through system failures, or perhaps there's a natural disaster, how are they able to, navigate all of those things to ensure that business continues? And that is where a skilled CISA professional basically comes in to evaluate the controls they have in place to see if they can recover quickly and continue serving its customers. And don't forget that the goal of every business is to meet customer needs, right? Now, this basically dovetails into the fifth domain. This is one of my favorites, protection of information assets, which also accounts for 26%. This domain is heavily reliant on cybersecurity and information security, right? Now, the topics under domain 5 will cover Information Systems Governance. IM here stands for Identity and Access Management. How do you authenticate users in your company? When you employ people into your organizations, how are they granted access to different systems? When they leave or when they are transferred from finance department to operations, how do you modify their access so that they don't go to that new department carrying the access of their former department? That is what identity and access management speaks to. It will also cover topics like network security. How secure is your network? This is where we begin to look at things like firewalls, endpoint security, antivirus, and the likes. Intrusion prevention, intrusion detection, right? Then endpoint, of course, speaks to the controls you have implemented on your endpoints. Endpoints here would be on your mobile devices, your mobile phones, tablets, your servers, your laptops, right? Topics also includes data loss prevention, encryption, public key infrastructure, cloud security. Now, increasingly, I remember back in the days, companies had server rooms where, they would house all their different servers, their web servers, database servers, and it was basically very expensive to maintain because one, you need to ensure that there's 24/7 power. There has to be cooling because those systems, those servers generate a lot of heat. And then you also need to implement what they call raised floor because you don't drop servers on the floor. If you do that, it will build condensation inside the servers and that will short circuit all the components within that machine and then damage it. So implement raised floor, implement some kind of smoke detector, implement fire protection. It was just so much to do. And so with cloud solutions where people could actually host their servers in the cloud, within 5 minutes, you can actually spin up a server. It was a whole lot cheaper, and some providers would actually also offer firewall services so that your data in the cloud is actually safe. So under domain 5, we'll be looking at things like cloud security. And of course, when you implement security in the cloud, you also need to monitor that security that you've implemented. And when there's an incident, you need to have a plan in place to address that incident. And of course, security awareness training. There's a saying within the information security space, that the cybersecurity chain is as strong as the weakest link, which is why we often emphasize that companies train their employees, their contractors, their vendors, because no matter what you've put in place, there's something we call defense in depth, where you're not just implementing a firewall, for instance, you're also implementing endpoint security, implementing, so it's a layered approach. You implement firewall, implement antivirus, implement endpoint security. If the people who use this technology are not trained, then it basically makes a nonsense of all the technology stack that you've implemented. And so this is where information security awareness training comes in. Train and retrain your staff how to identify phishing emails, how to identify things that could introduce malware into the into your workspace, because without training, it makes a nonsense of all that you have done. Now, cybersecurity is no longer an IT issue; it is a business issue, because when there's a data breach similar to the one we've seen with CAC or Remita, it can result in financial losses, regulatory penalties, and all of that, and of course, loss of customer trust. Now, this is where the CISA professional comes in to evaluate all the controls, security controls that I've implemented to ensure that it can protect all the information assets, right? Now, let's look at the CISA scoring system. I recall that Gustavo had mentioned that The CISA exam runs for 4 hours and it consists of 150 multiple choice questions. Now, there's a way the scoring is done. It is done on a scale of 200 to 800, which means the minimum you can score is 200, while the maximum you can score is 800. So it is not done on a raw percentage. The minimum passing score for you to pass the CISA exam, you need to score 450. So you cannot directly convert the number of correct answers, to arrive at your 450. It is a weighted scoring system. But what you should understand is you need to score, at least correctly answer about 65 to 75% of the questions to reach that passing score of 450. And yes, to somebody who asks a particular question, there are 2 modes of sitting for the exam. We have the proctored exam, which is done remotely. And then we have, back in the day, it used to be the EDP center somewhere around the Jodu, a center where you get to sit and then write your exam. But I think they've expanded and I think they now have more centers where you can walk in, sit and write the exam. Of course, the other option, like I alluded to earlier, is the proctored exam, where you can do the exam from a remote location with your laptop, right? Now, what are the key takeaways? Now, currently, technology is changing, risk is evolving. Virtually all industries that are regulated, the regulations are being tightened, but there is only one thing that has remained constant, right? Of course, we're in the age of AI. So it is important that you note that AI cannot replace accountability, right? It cannot replace governance. It cannot replace assurance. And that is where you come in. You sit at the intersection of technology, business, risk, and trust. Now, that is a position that gets more valuable as technology advances. And it will shock you to know this. Within the CISA network of professionals, I remember about 2 or 3 persons have reached out to me. A particular organization needed CISA holders, and believe me, nobody could produce one CISA holder. There was a time also I know Coronation Insurance also needed a CISA holder for an IT audit role, and for over 8 months they could not get anybody. And that basically speaks to how valuable that role gets as technology advances. So as a CISA holder, you're basically asking some questions. Within an organization, are your systems secure? Are the controls they've implemented effective? Are technology risks managed appropriately? And most importantly, can management or the owners of the business rely on the information generated by those systems? Now, one of the greatest career risks that I've seen, I'll tell you a bit about myself, right? So I've moved from consulting to federal government. I worked with government for about 4 years. And while I was with the federal government, was when PACN had just been privatized, and they called me to say they would like me to come set up and run the IT audit function. And that was how I went to the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company to set up and run the IT audit function. And from there, I was also called at Port Harcourt Disco, and I left there as the head of acting audit. I came back to Lagos to also head the IT audit unit, right? Now, one of the greatest career risks I see today is not AI, and that is standing still while the world changes. Now, with every major technological revolution, the reward goes to those who learn, and of course, those who remain in comfortable positions are punished. So my question to you is this: it is not that whether technology will change or not, or whether technology will change your profession. The question is, will you change with it? So, which is why where we are right now. What IoT offers is an opportunity for you to change as technology changes, because right now we're in the age of AI, right? But like I said earlier, AI cannot change. There are certain things AI cannot change. AI cannot change accountability because people, and that is where system logs come in. AI cannot replace accountability. AI cannot replace your professional judgment, which is professional skepticism. AI cannot replace governance or assurance, which is where you come in. So my hope is that you sign up for the program where we're able to train and build your confidence to a level where you're confident enough to sit and pass the CISA examinations. All right. So thank you very much. That's basically the end of my presentation. If you have questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omaka, for that wonderful presentation. That is actually good, thoughtful. However, before we actually allowed a general question, please, Mr. Omaka, I would really like to ask some questions because basically what usually, because of the doubt of those that really want to sit for the CISA exam and other things that surround the certification of CISA. So let me ask that during your CISA journey, Mr. Omaka, what actually surprised you about the exam? And more importantly, what preparation shortcut did you wish you would have taken? Or you should have taken?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The truth is this, there's really no shortcut. You just have to put in the work. And that's the truth. There's no shortcut. You need to put in the work. And just like Gustavo had alluded to earlier, there are waivers. If you have a BSc in computer science or some other numeric course, they can actually take out 3 years, which means you're now looking at 2 years work experience. But what I also see that is an issue is this. It is the ability for people to tie audit findings to business outcomes. I mean, it's not enough for you to come and tell me you have discovered this problem. I mean, the owners of business are looking at you and saying, it's okay, so what? You've said this has happened. I mean, how does it concern my Naira and Kobo? So I think one of the most important things is being able to tie your findings to business outcomes. And that is where you show value. Remember when I started, I said, don't chase money, chase value. Chase value. Right. Yes, it's very critical.
Wow. Yes, thank you so much for that. If you know that during your presentation, you show the domain that actually have weight than each other. Isn't that a kind of something one can actually leverage on to actually serve as a high pass mark during the CISA exam?
Okay, so yes, you're right. It is, and the reason is not far-fetched. Like I said, the core of everything we're doing is to ensure that company assets. So when we talk about assets, I know accountants will say plant and machinery, and things like that. But in IT Audit, when we talk about assets, we're talking about data. We're talking about proprietary information, your software. If you've witnessed the implementation of an ERP solution, it can cost. I mean, I was with a particular disco, and I can tell you for free that the ERP solution we deployed cost over 1 billion. So it is not cheap. It's not cost of buying a car. So yes. When we talk about assets, we're talking about software. We're talking about your servers that hold, and not just, we're also talking about personal identifiable information. Remember, for companies that deal with customer data, let's take banks for instance. The customer's name, NIN, the customer's BVN, the customer, their customer's address, phone number, these are all, personal identifiable information, and they must be protected. You will find this even under the NIDA, that's the Nigerian Data Protection Act.
Yes.
So, yeah, so domains 4 and 5 basically, gives you an idea that, these are areas where you need to put in the work, because the more questions will come from domain 4 and 5. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, apparently and absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Okay, please permit me to take on this last question before I finally open the room for others. Many people actually sit for CISA exam because they think it is mandatory, especially boosting their resume. Mr. Maka, when did CISA actually become genuinely valuable to you? And how did that shift your career trajectory? Is it when you get to the disco, or when you eventually shift from disco to Kent Electric City?
Okay, well, I would say my journey is actually very personal to me. I got certified when I was even at the consulting firm, because it was, at the time, it was mandatory for us. You cannot be at that company at the time. Just like you can't work in an accounting firm and not be a chartered accountant. And so for that consulting firm, you cannot work there and not be a certified information systems auditor. And at the time, we did a whole lot of work for PACN. It was PACN at the time. And I can share some of the shocking findings with you. Some of the discos actually ran what I could call like a black box, and people basically manipulated the system. So when we came on board, we were able to show them value, how they were losing money in billions. And so even when I left the company, I got a federal government job. I was with them for about 4 years. They called me to say, now that they privatized the company, that they want me to come and set up and run IT audit for them. So I didn't even apply. I didn't apply for the job, but I got the job because they had seen value, which is again why when I started, I said, chase value, don't chase money. And then while I was still there, Parakot Disco also called. I spoke with the MD. I said they would like me to join them, and because the truth is this, systems are now automated.
Yes.
So they don't want people who just audit around the system. You're looking at the input and you're looking at the output. They want end-to-end assurance, which is where CISA certified professionals come in. You're not just looking at input and output. You're basically looking at the entire solution end-to-end, looking at what even goes on inside of the system. I'll share an example with you. When I started to run the IT audit at in Enugu there, the first thing we did was, of course, to take inventory of all their IT assets. And then we got to a particular place, and one of the servers was missing. And then we got the server back. Of course, if you recall, when I was in my presentation, we talked about data analysis, and then we had a tool that we're using at the time. It's called Audit Command Language, and we're able to do an analysis of what had gone wrong inside of that system. We got all the data out. And then we discovered that a whole lot of fraud had gone on that resulted, in fact, the loss was at over 2 billion. Wow. So the guy, first of all, wasn't arrested because the guy understood the system and he understood how to circumvent the controls, because the server in question was an offline server, meaning it wasn't connected to the internet. Is not guaranteed that the data inside that server is safe, right? And the guy came up to me, was like, in pidgin, he said, "Which kanji they use?" But these are some of the things we see. It is data driven. We use solution to provide value to our employers. And so, yes, I mean, once you show value, you get the commensurate, money that comes with it.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much. So, my dear participants, I really see, if you actually notice the pattern, you will see that Mr. Omaka isn't actually telling us that CISA is actually easy. He's showing us that it's worth it. And that distinction actually matters. And he said, it is not just about chasing the money, but adding value to the employer and also to your what organization. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Omaka. Let me permit 2 or 3 people to actually ask questions before we finally take on the next section. Please, if you have a question, do where to signify by raising your hand. Okay, I think I have some people here. I'm not seeing. My goodness. Okay, yes. So please permit me to take them one after the other. Annie, please, are you there? Annie is actually on hold. Annie, you are on the call. Abisola, please, if you are there, unmute yourself. Abisola, if you are there, unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to ask, thank you for this. The last presenter, I wanted to ask him. So the interesting part of it is that I was looking at the NITDA data protection officer role or certification when somebody spoke to me about CISA, and that's why I'm here today. So my requirement actually is a advisory role for businesses because of the digital dispensation that we're going through. I primarily work with small businesses, and it's to help them understand what needs to be in place for their businesses as they go digital and rely more on technology. So my question now is it a worthwhile qualification? For me, it seems a bit above board, although my experience, I've worked with a lot of ERPs and systems and data. That's my line, but I'm just wondering whether this is not an overkill. I would like for advice from the presenter. Thank you.
Thank you. That's actually a brilliant one. Mr. Maka, ball in your box.
Okay. So thank you very much. So, well, it depends on your perspective. So for NITDA, it's a government regulatory agency in Nigeria, and they have said that every organization should have like a DPO, that's a data protection officer. Now, for CISA is actually a global certification, and even in our role, we also carry out data protection audits. So it's like trying to compare the ACA to ACCA. So one is local, the other is global. So it depends on what you're looking at. NITDA is best if you're looking at working with the government or tech entrepreneurs in Nigeria who need to just comply with national IT clearance and cybersecurity frameworks. But if you want a global reach, I would say the CISA is your best bet. Right? I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. It does. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much for that. Olalekan. Olalekan, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Really thank Mr. Maka for wonderful presentation. Well, my question is that is there any accessibility to the exam materials that student can read to pass the exam, and also to go about the past questions so that they can give in-depth knowledge about the exam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for material, I think IoT is in a better position to answer that. But in terms of going through past questions, that will be covered, during the sessions. We'll cover past questions. We'll cover demo questions during the sessions. Yes. But for materials, IoT is in a better position to provide clarity on that.
Yes, for more details on our materials, we'll be having a session soon, and a representative of IOT Academy will attend to that question. So I guess the next person on the list should be Adesui Oyeyemi. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, so please, my question is this. I'm an accountant looking to transit into IT audit. So, sir, what's your advice for me on how to go about that? That's why I want to take this CISA exam. And another thing is that, do we need to be a member? Do you need to register to be a member of ISACA before we can write the exam? And after writing the exam, do we need to register to be a member to hold the certification, or will be disqualified if we are certified and we are not registered as a member?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So first of all, you can transition at any time, and I'll tell you for free. I studied banking and finance, so it has nothing to do with the CS exams. And I have an MBA in business administration from the Oxford University. So you can actually transition at any time. As a matter of fact, we even have chartered accountants who are also certified information systems auditors. And then for your other question, no, you did not need to be a member. It's not compulsory. The only difference is for the exam, you will pay higher because you're not a member. And in terms of your, let's say you're certified right now. If you're not a member, I'm a member, and I want to pay a certification fee, I get to pay less, you pay more. So if you're a member, there are certain benefits you get. So first of all, your annual renewal fee is lower. For training, there are certain materials you can download for free as a member. For training programs, as a member, you enjoy discounts. So if there's a training either in Lagos or Abuja or even outside the country, if others are paying $500, you get to pay about maybe $350 or less. So there are discounts you get as a member. And then even when you have the certification and you're not a member, it doesn't mean you're automatically disqualified. You can still hold the certification as long as you meet the minimum requirement. Just like Gustavo alluded to earlier, you need to meet your mandatory, there are CPEs that you need to meet every 3 years. It is 20 CPEs per year. So over a 3-year period, you need to meet about 80 CPEs. Right?
Is it possible for us to meet the
60
CPEs
yes.
without being a member, sir?
Yes. Like I said, the benefit of membership is in reduced fees. If you're a member, and for instance, if I'm not a member and I want to renew my annual subscription, I get to pay $85. But you as a member, you probably pay $30. So there are so many discounts you enjoy as a member. And again, there are a whole lot of resources on the ISACA website. If you go there, you can download those resources for free because you're a member. If I want to download those resources as a non-member, I have to pay for those resources, right? So those are some of the benefits you enjoy as a member. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for that, sir. I think the next person with the hands raised is Etupu Amafa. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. Etupu Amafa, your hand is raised.
Say good morning. Thank you very much for all the presentation. I was in the middle of 2 meetings, so I missed some things, but I'm believing that the recorded version will be sent to us. My question is this: I'm in the UK and I just floated a company, and what we're doing is in the space of education support. So I'm looking for a way where I could partner with you lots, this body, and see if, we can do some, because I'm in the UK, yeah, so I will be able to go to some universities, talk to them, get clients for you. And if it's in partnership, there could be people in the UK that want to get these qualifications or that really want support in the professional studies. So that's all I'm asking now. Maybe we can have more engagements, after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
I believe Rachel can take that.
Yeah. Exactly. So please just start up with the admin immediately after this session.
Okay, can admin please indicate? I don't know who the admin is.
Yes, do you have our WhatsApp number?
Well, I'm on the CISA watch list. Is it that one?
Oh, okay. Yes. Send a direct message.
Watch
I'll
list
respond to you.
Okay, love. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so to the next person, we have Shidiogo Ihwezi. Mr. Shidiogo. Mr. Shidiogo, can you hear me? Or Miss Shidiogo, can you hear me? Okay, let's move on to the next person, Professor Fatsen. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. We can hear you.
Yes, I want to see if we can have a link where we can have some of us that are likely prospective to keep getting the updates in respect of this course and likely clarifications, like somebody have requested for material we can see, and breakdowns of the courses and all that has to do with registrations, requirement, and others. You can have a platform like that, possibly on WhatsApp. Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Prof. Actually, Rachel, go up.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, Professor. Actually, our IoT representatives shall be speaking to that immediately after this session. That is the next session that we have. Thanks so much. So, Rachel, is that all? Rachel, are you there? Rachel.
Sorry, I think Mohammed has his hand up.
Okay, please, can everybody hear me?
Well, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So Fumbi, please quickly ask your question. Please, immediately after Fumbi, we shall proceed to the next section, everybody.
Right. Can you hear me? Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, it's now afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. My question is, the last speaker just talked about being a member. Is it that we be a member before you write the exam? Is there a process to that? Or is after you write the exam you could be a member? Or I just want to hear a clarification on that.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So the idea is this, right? You don't necessarily have to be a member, but being a member gives you certain benefits. And I'd like to share some with you. So let's say we're both prospective students. We want to write exam. I'm a member, you are not a member. If the exam fee is $500, for instance, you will pay $500, while I, because I'm a member, I'll probably pay $350. So they are called member benefits. For non-members, for virtually everything that they need to pay for, they get to pay a higher rate. And for members, there are materials that are free for us.
I'm trying to answer. Sorry, sir. How can I join to be a member before writing the exam? That's actually my question.
Yes, the IoT team will guide you through that process. They will reach out to you and guide you through the process. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Thanks very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks so much. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, sir. I'm here. Good afternoon. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to the next session. That will be CISA at a glance. This session will be handled by the head of our admin team here at IoT, Queen Esther Upe. So Queen Esther, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Good afternoon, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, can I proceed?
Yes, please, the floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Please give me a moment while I share my screen. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, before.
Okay.
Not now. Okay, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you so much for that. All right. Good afternoon once again, everyone. Thank you for joining this CISA Open Day event. My name is Queen Esther, and I'm the head of administration and customer support at IOT Academy. This session is about how IOT Academy can help you succeed in your CISA journey. And that's because passing a professional exam like CISA can be tough, but with the right guidance, it becomes achievable. Over the years, IOT Academy has built a track record of excellence in preparing students for ICAN, ATSWA, ACCA, and CITN examination. And we have supported thousands of students to prepare for and pass these examinations at one sitting through virtual learning. And this process, this provides like a success case study for how we can help you excel in your journey to become CISA certified. At IOT Academy, we're an e-learning platform. We provide tuition for persons preparing for professional examinations such as ICAN, ATSWA, ACCA, CITN, and CISA. Our mission is to continually provide tuition for persons preparing for these professional exams using technological advancements and innovation. At IOT Academy, we use a blend of video lectures and interactive online live sessions to equip students for their examination. And the video lectures covers comprehensive topic areas and can be viewed at your pace, while the live classes are held at the weekends. All classes are recorded, and then you can always revisit missed sessions at your convenience. Additionally, you'd receive carefully prepared lesson notes from our tutors. You can have questions during the live classes or within the designated course discussion forum. For the tuition plans, currently for CISA, you'd be given access to the live classes, which are held on Microsoft Teams, and video lectures, which are accessible on laptops, smartphones, and tablets. And the video lectures would be accessible for a duration of 6 months. The videos can be downloadable on mobile devices and tablets through the mobile application. And then you'd also have access to lesson notes, weekly assignments, quizzes, and flashcards. You'd be added to a designated discussion forum, revision classes, and mock exams, and technical and administrative supports as well. So all our video lectures and study materials are accessible on our web and mobile application. So for the website, you can find that at www.iot.com.ng. And our mobile app, you can scan this barcode to install the mobile app, and you can also install it from your Play Store or App Store by just searching IOT Academy or ICAN online tutors. You'd find the app, and then you can install it on any of your device that you use. For the price list, the classes cost 200,000, but there's currently a 30% discount for the first 10 persons that would be enrolling for classes with us. And then for the CISA registration fee, it costs $643. And there's a processing fee. If you'd like us to assist you with the process, we charge a processing fee of 30,000. However, for the first 10 persons who would be letting us assist them with this process, it will be completely free. So you don't have to pay the processing fee. So you just pay the $643. The CISA classes is scheduled to commence on the 4th of July, 2026. And the course duration is for 3 months. And then domain 1 to 5 will be taught. We also carry out other processes, registration processes. For more information on that or inquiries, you can call us or send us a WhatsApp chat on 07044 576011, or you can call us. You can send us a message on 0811 086 66896. You can visit our website at www.iot.com.ng. You can also send us an email at info@icanonlinetutors.com or icanonlinetutors@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Queen Esther. As we've all seen that CISA is actually not a static badge, but a living credential, and that's actually plays to a real success. I know that 1 or 2 people is actually having a question to ask. Fumbi, your hand is up. Do you have any question for us, Fumbi? Or meet your mic. Please, no need of saying good afternoon, just go straight to the question.
All right, thank you. What I want to ask is the money, the fee is in dollars. So I don't know, are we that we pay it before we do the class registration, or we pay it together by the road? And also, I want to ask that can we pay the two before we join the membership, or the membership to is fee, so that we know everything so that we can put together well? Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Queen Esther.
Yes, I'm so sorry, please. Would you mind taking the second question again so I could just, I wasn't quite clear on what you mean.
Okay, I said that the lecture, are we to pay both the lecture and the exam registration together? And also I said the membership, or the membership too, does it has a fee so that we know what it is to take to be a member? and to do the lecture and to do the exam. We only have the two, we don't have the third one, the membership. What's the fee? How do we go about that?
Please, can you scroll to
Okay.
just scroll to the 5th page? I think that is where the question is being asked. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So for tuition, for the classes, you don't have to pay for both the classes and the registration, the CISA registration form at the same time. So you can start classes while you are still trying to gather up the money for the registration you get, so that you don't miss out on the opportunity. So yes, then also, since you're going to be getting the CISA qualification, you're also going to become an ISACA member afterwards. So I would advise that you just take up the course and take up the exams rather than becoming a member and then getting to pay for this. It's almost, if you want to weigh the options, it almost look like the same cost when you try to go through that route. So seeing that you're going to become an ISACA member from becoming, when you get the CISA certification, you can as well just take up the exams and then proceed to getting the membership awards. I hope I answered your question, please.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have another question from Mohammed. Mohammed, please submit yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is, I want to ask about the technical specification, as CISA is IT audit. So which kind of device and specifications do we need for the preparation? Second question is that if you fail the exams, if you come back for second time, are you paying in full again, or there is a reduction in it?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sure you were here from the beginning, but the first speaker, Mr. Gustavo, mentioned that once you fail an exam, you don't have to pay in full anymore, but there's going to be you're still going to receipt, but there's going to be a cost for that anyways. Yes. So, and then for the education, since you're starting classes, there's no required specification for it. All you need to do is just be available with your mobile phones or your tablets or your laptop, and that's all that is required at the moment.
Okay, so we don't require laptop for the preparation.
No, I mentioned laptop, so a mobile phone, a laptop, or a tablet is fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. So let's take on Adesuyi in nothing less than 30 seconds. Adesuyi.
Okay, thank you. I have 3 questions. The first question is about the registration fee. So I'm seeing a registration fee of $643. So I want to ask that, is this just registration fee or it comprises of the exam fee? Then also I want to ask about the membership fee, because one of the things Mr. Awa mentioned was that if you are a member, it gives you the privilege of paying lesser exam fee, or you have other privileges than not being a member. So I want to say that IoT should make every possible information available to us. Then let us make the decision of whether we want to be a member before we write the exam, or we want to be a member after writing the exam. So every necessary information should be given to us. Are we going to be paying membership fee? How much is it? Are we going to be paying exam fee, or this exam fee is included in this registration fee, or this is just registration fee? So please give us that information so that we'll make our choices on which part we want to go to. Then also the Q&E, I think there's a Q&E or Q&A exam material to study. How much is it? Are we going to be getting that too? So please give us a detailed information about all the financial implications from start to finish, so that we can make informed decisions. That is number 1 question. Then my number 2 question is that I'm aware that this is the first time IoT is running CISA. So what are the structured put in place? Because this cost, because of writing this exam, is actually on the high side for some of us. but we are just paying the price to go for the course because of the value we want to derive from it. So what are the things that the programs that IoT is putting in place to ensure that at least we have a maximum pass mark in this exam, so that we will not just, the first set will not be for a test run or that. So let's know what are the plans, the tutors and all, so that like the success rate we want to know. Then the third question is how many diets do we have? Like ICAN diets, we have like May diet, we have November diet. For this particular exam, is it just once in a year, or how many diets in a year, like that? Or how many times did they write the exam in a year, so that we can make informed decisions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Queen, please permit me to pick on this question. Right. I would like to start from the second question, which is IoT just starting CISA. That is actually incorrect. This is our third cohort as far as IoT is concerned. Okay, just that many people only think we run ICAN, ACCA. There are also some certification exams that we run, which is really not clear to majority. All right, based on that is the second question. So the first question about the exam fee, based on the advice that has been given from the two perspectives.
We can't hear again. We can't hear you again, Mr. Yomite, or is it just me?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I said you can actually take it from the two perspectives. The first perspective is that of Mr. Omaka, which explained the benefits of being an ISACA member, and that of the Queen Extra, which also weigh in that the fee at the end of the day looks similar. However, the benefits of being an ISACA member outweigh the other. Some of the fees for the exam registration fee for a member is $575, while non-member is $760. And the exam registration is only valid for 1 year, which is 12 months, which allow you to schedule your computer-based exam at your centers. I think in Nigeria, we have about 4 or 5 centers, I think, okay? Is it 4 or 5 centers? I know of Lagos, okay, Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, Ibadan, and Port Harcourt. I think 4 or 5, something like that. Okay. And aside from the exam registration fee, we also have a membership fee, which is $135 annually, plus any local chapter charge and due or charges. Then for student, that one is around $25. Then we also have some processing fee and some annual maintenance fee, in which IoT has already given their verdict on. So those are the charges, or let me call it some cost implication to the CISA. And then CISA is within an accounting year, which is 12 months, but can be receipt, as already mentioned by Mr. Fraga. Okay, so that is that. I hope that actually answered the question, ma'am.
What about materials? Are there materials? Are we paying for them? Then how many times do we write the exam in a year?
Okay, yes. Sorry, I actually I skipped that. I'm sorry. For the material, just as IoT and just as presented, during the course of our lecture, material shall be provided to all participants. And we also have our video lecture, which will be made available for everyone. And the exam is once in a year. We can actually receipt for it. Once we register, once that the exam is taken, then the registration for the lecture actually closes. Then for another one we need to pay. Ideally, discount can always be given. However, it is once for a time. Okay, so that is that.
Okay, so what I mean
which
is,
other one have I missed?
How many times did they write the exam in a year? I'm not saying for a particular person. Like How many times? Is it like in 3 month intervals of writing the exam? I know it's once.
The exam
I want
is
to know so that
once
you
in a
can.
year. Once. I mentioned that. I said it's once in a year. Once. It's not like,
Mr.
I
Oyemi.
can. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think, sorry to interrupt you. I don't think it's once in a year. I think you can write it as many times as you want, but it's just one single level. And hopefully, if you do everything right, take all your classes,
Yes.
you won't have to rewrite it. You will pass at your first, or you will pass on your first attempt. You understand? But you can write it at any time throughout the year, anytime you feel ready, but it has to be within 6 months after registration. I hope that
Yes,
answers
sir.
the
And
question.
it is. Thank you, sir. So it is actually capped at 4 times per year.
Okay, capped at 4 times, so maximum of four
4
times.
times. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, but hopefully, if you take classes with us, you do everything, you practice, you do your revision with us, you take an exam within the range, you won't have to write the exam a second time.
Absolutely. And as asked earlier, we have high passing rates in our exam. Class.
Yeah, we have a very high pass rate, which we have proven with other exams, and this will be an exception, definitely.
Okay, I have Samson. Samson, please submit yourself.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask that is it possible for us to have access to your frequently asked questions? Because I want to believe that most of the questions that are being asked will have been covered by this FAQ. And also, I also want to know, someone asked a question from the platform that he had that the certificate, that the CISA certificate expire after some years. So he asked that how true is this? I don't know if that question has been taken. So I want you to also let us know. So, those are the rumors that people will. So is it true that the certificate expires, or is it a lifetime certificate? So please, so can we have access to your frequently asked questions, and how true is that the certificate expires? Thank you.
We shall make that. Thank you so much for that. That question has also been answered in multiple times today. However, we shall make our frequently asked question available on our platform, and we will also send it across the platform, as well as the video session. The video replay of this session will also be shared. Thanks so much.
So can we have access to your FAQ?
Oh, yes. We have
Yes.
on our site, so you can go through that. And if you have further questions, you can always send us a chat on the customer support line.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Queen Esther. Thanks so much, everyone. Rachel.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Okay, so we'll be moving on to our next session. Please, if you have any question for now, just sit tight and we will call upon you to ask your question. But for now, please, because of time, let's move on to the next session. So CISA exam and preparation strategy. Most of us came here with the mindset of registering for CISA. So we want to know more about this exam and how best to study and pass this exam in one sitting. So Mr. Oluwadare Olubenga, are you here? Mr. Dari, are you here?
So Mr. Oluwadare has actually guided hundreds of candidates to CISA success, and he will be sharing some frameworks, timelines, and some honest reflections on what actually separates those who pass on the first attempt from those who don't. Mr. Oluwadare Olubenga, good afternoon. How are you doing today? Mr. Oluwadare, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you, sir. Good afternoon. Yes. Sorry, can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, can anybody
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you,
Hello?
sir. Please share your screen,
We
sir.
can hear you, sir.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
We can hear you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
We can. We can hear you.
All right, can I share my screen? All right, can I share my screen now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen. Let me know.
Yes, sir. We can see it now. Yes, sir. We can see it now.
All right, thank you. Oh. All right, thank you very much. Okay, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon to the team who have been doing a fantastic, wonderful job since the beginning of this open day session. Okay, my name is Oluwadare Ogunfunmiwa. Okay, so today we'll be looking at CISA exam and preparation strategy. Yes, so many things have been said so far, right? And it's all been very informative, very, of course, interesting. And we just want to take a quick look at some of the ways to encourage and just to prepare our hearts and make us see what CISA really is, right? Of course, you know, there's so much fear, there's so much in terms of missing as in server information out there. Oh, CISA, because I used to have that information. I used to think CISA is one mystery hell of a nut that can be cracked, right? But of course, it takes you taking this courageous move like you are making today with IoT. Such courageous move is what would actually make you explore and conquer this particular exam, right? Oh, so talking briefly about myself, I'm very conversant with ISACA exams. I'm a CISA CISM series. Those are the flagship ISACA certifications, right? And I wrote all these exams and I passed them at once, right? And and that's part of the strategy. That's part of the wealth of experience, like how the navigation. Sorry, can you hear me now? I think my network tripped, right? Okay.
We can hear you,
Can you
sir.
see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So that's part of the navigation. I'm going to be, of course, sharing a bit of that, right, with us on this call, just so that we can be motivated, we can build up that level of confidence, that morale, right, and go for it, right? Okay, so session objective. We are going to be looking at CISA exam structure and domains. I think Mr. Ward dealt a whole lot with this today, right? We'll just look at that in summary again, then we'll go to other things that we need to see today, right? Of course, we know what CISA is. We have, of course, a CISA representative on this call explain to us what the Certified Information Systems Auditor, of course, really is one of the flagship certification from the stable of ISACA, right? Globally recognized, right, in IT auditing, information security, risk and compliance, governance and control, right? And the focus areas are usually governance, risk management, IT controls and information security. A lot have been said about this today, so because of our time, let's just okay. So looking at the various domain, yes, we've seen the dissection, right? From your domain 1, which is your information system audit process, right? And we've seen the respective weights, right, allocated to each of the domain. One area of caution I want to draw here, right? Yes, the weight. What does the weight really represent? The weight really will tell you, of course, and this was one of the, of course, cautions my trainers communicated to me right back then, right? And I'm very grateful that I took year to the caution line, right? A lot of students make a mistake of one of the pitfalls, saying because domain 1 is 18%, so I focus more on domain 4 and 5, right? That would be a trap. What this domain is really, what it communicates majorly is the fact that in the exam, you have, it shows you the percentage of what's it called, distribution of those questions. Like you have more of those, of course, the way, the consecration, right, of those exams. It's not saying one domain is of much more importance than the other domain. That's not the communication, right? And you see a lot of people, they focus efforts on domain 4, domain 5, right? And they focus less on other domains. But the way ISACA is, what's it called, the structuring, right, in terms of the passing average, right, all domains are factored into the picture. That means you'll be what's it called, you'll be scored, right, on each of the domain. So for instance, someone has put so much attention in his passing domain, putting so much effort, emphasis on domain 4 and 5, he has passed, and didn't pass domain 1. That person will not get certified still, right? So that we don't fall into that pitfall. I learned this early, right? And that's why I remember this, of course, chipping this in, right? That the domain weight is not necessarily saying this is more important than this. They are all equally important, but it's just saying, yeah, you have more question distribution in terms of, sometimes it might be because of the some domain are more in terms of the content of those domains. Like you have more content in your domain 5, right? It's more voluminous, right? And then you have automatically you have more spread of questions. You will encounter in your CISA questions, right? Exam day, more questions from this domain 5 and domain 6. Domain 4 and domain 5, of course, compared to the other domains, right? As it is. So I think we shouldn't do it. That's just the caution line I want to draw from this particular, right? Slide, right? So looking at the CISA exam structure, yes, you have 150 multiple choice questions, right? And you have 4 hours to answer all of these 150 multiple choice questions. It's computer based, we've been told, right? Yes, I know there are instances, there are provisions where you could do those exams, of course, online, where you have an online proctor, right? Something more like an evaluator monitoring, or you go to a CISA accredited center. They are all over Lagos, And of course, it's very important you go for a good one, right? Of course, I've seen people who shared with us sometimes when they go to a particular, where you write the exam, on the exam day, I'm talking about the exam day, with the exam day, and they have issues, power issues, of course, some other things, which could eventually affect concentration and whatever. Of course, what I did for my CISA exams, of course, that was the strategy for my CSIMs, for my series with ISACA. I stuck to one particular center. I'm not going to mention name. I'm not advertising for any exam center, right? But because I did my research and I was able to get information here and there, and I was able to know they are known for being stable in terms of they have that credibility in terms of power system and all of that. And because I don't want any distraction. Distractions could just be what can pull the plug at the end of the day. After you prepare so much, it won't be nice. So computer based, and don't advise doing using your internet, trying to run the exam yourself. I prefer going to a center, of course, that has the responsibility of making those things provided for, right? So that you save yourself the stress of those unnecessary, right, those avoidable issues, right? So computer-based exam,
of course, they are on as communicated on the CISA platform. You will see ISACA platform rather. When scheduling exams, you will see accredited centers, the time availability. Of course, you can write CISA exams anytime in the year. Yes, there's a time anytime in the year. Well, of course, we are not planning for any resitting in this class, right? So, of course, anytime in the year you can write a CISA exam, right? So it's not diet based like ICAN and the rest. It's anytime in the year. Once you are you are done with your exam planning preparation, I used to advise students, once you are done with your class, right, you do some weeks or max a month of revision, go and do your exams, right? With the later, the more you delay, of course, it takes a whole lot of things away, right? So when it is hot, right, when you are hot, red, or smoking, right, in terms of you are in that, what's it called? You're in that form. You will know when you're ready for the exam. I'll give us how you will know when you're ready for the exams, right? We'll talk about that in the course of this class. So it's computer based. The scaling score, of course, 450 plus, right? That means 450 over 800 minimum, right? That's across each of the domains, domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, right? 4 and 5. Of course, it's based on 5 domains. We've discussed that. So some reality check for us here. The challenge is not technical difficulty. So I've heard, oh, I'm not an IT person. I've had questions, of course, some of the conversation I've been listening or not, some of the questions, and it's of course I get the question, I get the, of course, the anxiety, right? Yes, it's and I will say this just to give you some level of comfort. I was never an IT person. I don't have any IT background, right? Yeah, I'm just a regular auditor, right? In fact, I did, of course, I wasn't doing I was involved in IT audits in the course of I just learned certain things practically, some mentorship here and there from people, right? It's not as if I have done any IT certification or IT audit certification anywhere. Yet, I faced the CISA exams. Of course, just took certain precautions, certain rigorous, right? It's going to be rigorous, it's going to be regimented learning, right? I know somebody was asking for the shortcut to passing this exam. There are no shortcuts. Just like the answer came, right? There are no shortcuts. You must put in the work. You must put in the hours of work, right? It's rigorous learning. It's regimented and it's continuous. It must be sustained, right? And it comes from a determined heart. CISA is possible, right? But the question is, are you ready to give in the effort to make it, of course, give it a regimented approach, right? And it's that continuity, that sustenance, right, that will result into making at the end of the day. So it's possible. The challenge is not the technical difficulty. So forget about if you are not an IT oriented person, you don't have an IT background. Oh wow, welcome to the club. Same was I, right? And here I am. We dusted it at one sitting with no what's it called? Seamlessly, right? So the challenge is actually thinking like an auditor, right? So there's a thinking, and we'll look at a certain slide today that also talks about how the ISACA auditor mindset. Thinking like an auditor is about, I see a lot of people who come to ISACA exams thinking because I have my IT background, right? Because of what I know about IT. Sometimes what you know is not the right thing, right? And that's some of the things. There's a whole lot of unlearning, relearning, you're right, that's going to take place in the course of these ISACA classes, right? And that's why it's very important. You are trained by certified what's it called? Tutors, right? Just like we have here in IoT, right? So it's and a lot of worth of experience will be communicated because of teaching. Beyond that, there are tips here and there that you'll be gaining, right? And it will make you grounded with the adequate knowledge required to pass your CISA exam at once. Our goal is to make you pass your CISA exam at once, not to have any form of repetition of writing CISA all over again, right? So, okay, the ISACA auditor mindset. Always think like an auditor, gathering evidence before drawing conclusion. That has to be, of course, on the top on your mindset. Risk first, not technology. Think risk first, right? Before attempting to fix the problem. That's a mindset you must have when you are approaching ISACA exams, right? Governance before operation. Of course, you think enterprise, right? What's the global impact? right, of what based on the entire governance landscape, right? You must think enterprise. Thinking enterprise, overall enterprise strategy is what? Because IT strategy of its own does not exist, right? It's existing to drive achievement of overall strategy, enterprise strategy. So thinking enterprise is very key. Thinking about controls before solutions. You must think about the controls, right? Those control activities, right? Those measures, right? That are there to mitigate those inherent risks within across processes. You must think controls before solution. Of course, you must have an independence and objectivity mindset, right? That's the mindset of every auditor, right? Of course, objectivity has to do with not, of course, without any form of bias mindset, right? So you must be objective, right? In your, of course, in your thinking, right? Evidence-based decisions. Your decisions have to be evidence-based. Just no emotions, right? It's about evidence, evidence-based decisions. These are critical ISACA auditors' mindset that as a CISA, of course, as a certified, as a certified CISA in view, right? These are the mindsets you must have, right? And these are the mindset you must take with you when approaching preparation for your CISA exams, and of course, obviously, eventually, right now in your CISA, doing the CISA exam, you must have this mindset. They are very critical to success, right? So let's look at some stuff about CISA questions. Each CISA question has a STEM question and 4 options. Of course, multiple choice, right? The candidate is asked to choose the correct or best answer from the options. The STEM may be in form of questions or incomplete statements, right? In some cases, a scenario description also may be included, right? Of course, scenario-based, practical, right? These questions normally include a description of a situation, and they require the candidate to answer to, of course, or more questions, right? It can be 1, of course, some cases 2 questions based on the information provided. So CISA exam questions are developed with the intent of measuring and testing practical knowledge and the application of IS audit, that Information System Audit, assurance principles and standards, right? All questions are presented in the multiple choice format and are designed for one best answer, right? In as well as some other options could look correct, you understand? But there's a one best answer, right? And that's why you must pay attention to details. You must look beyond what you are seeing, right? There are some critical words. We'll get there. Critical words you must be very conscious of, right? In every CISA exams, every CISA question, it's always advised to read each question carefully. In fact, you have to read the question twice. Read it carefully. Be sure you understand the question before jumping into the answer. So knowing that these types of questions are asked, right, and how to study to answer them will go a long way towards answering them correctly. So the best answer is of the choices provided, right? So there's the best answer amongst those choices provided. Oh, there may be potential solutions to the scenario posed in the questions. Obviously, I've seen that a lot of times. Of course, ISACA is known for that. Depending on industry, geographical location, etc., consider the information provided in the question and determine the best answer or from the options provided. This is very critical, right? Very critical. So, exam strategies and answering techniques. Read the question twice, right? Identify the key issues being tested. So you have to be able to, okay, what's being tested here, right? You have to figure it out. It's across domains. So ISACA exam is not segmented into domains when you are writing the exam, right? It's haphazardly, of course, what's it called? Arranged, right? So you don't know. So, but as an ISACA student who has studied well, right? You study each of those domains well. You should be able to tell what is being tested in this particular question. You must be able to understand the area within that particular domain that is being tested. So always read the question carefully for trigger words like first. Those words are not just there for fancy sake. First, it means a whole lot. The word first could go a long way to determine the outcome of your answer, right? Best, right? Most, right? Primarily, those words they carry a lot of intent, right? They carry a lot of strength, and you must pay attention to those words, right? Eliminate 2 obviously wrong answers, options first. That's the drill, right? So even in your preparation, you must learn to eliminate. Eliminate obviously wrong. I mean, options that are extreme. Of course, elimination. You must learn to eliminate because you can't be considering the 4 options at the same time. It will lead to confusion. We will not be confused on this call, right? So eliminate 2 extreme options, right? We read the remaining options to determine which is the best answer to the question. This is a strategy that has worked for me, right? And that's why I'm sharing this, right? Eliminate the 2 extreme options. We read the remaining options to determine which of the 2 best answers the question, right? When unsure, choose the answer that shows due professional care, independence, and risk-based thinking. When you are unsure, right? So you are not just doing you work on it a no, you understand? You're not playing Tinita, no. When so that you have reduced your risk to a certain level. So when you are unsure at the end, look at questions that you understand that ask risk-based thinking, right? The options, right? Then prefer answers that directly reference ISACA standards over guidelines, right? We have ISACA guidelines and we have ISACA standards. For instance, answers that talks more about standards, right? You rate them over answers that talks about ISACA guidelines. You understand? So guidelines are more advisory. Standards are things that, of course, importance, right? Very necessary things, right? Has to be in place. Guidelines are advisory in nature. So these are just tips, right? Strategies, techniques, right? Okay, so avoid overly technical response. Don't be too technical. You understand? You don't bring your of course. You must wear your IT IT audit cap. Sometimes you might need to take up your IT cap. That's the truth. I've seen, of course, a lot of people who have got overconfidence. Of course, I've seen a lot of people, IT guys dust in CISA, right? I've seen a lot of non-IT guys dust CISA, right? So it's not a question of being an IT or not being an IT person. So that's not being an IT person only gives you that. Of course, you have that foundation, but it doesn't matter in this case. I was not an IT person, right? And CISA exam, I can't face CISA exam, any CISA exam. You should answer it anyway. I can't, right? Because these are the techniques, and this is what works. I've repeated it over time. 3 ISACA exam, it can't fail, right? So overly technical response, where you are too technical, don't be technically biased. Don't be emotional about your decision making, right? Don't ignore governance context, right? Don't ignore governance context in questions, right? Don't ignore the context. Governance is very key, right? In ISACA questions, in ISACA exams, governance context is very key in your consideration. When we get to our domain 2, you will understand deep about what the governance, right, really is, right? So governance concept, don't ignore governance. Choosing fastest solution instead of best control. You understand? This is where some of my IT guys, right? They, of course, some of the pitfalls, right? You are choosing because maybe the head of IT chose one fastest solution because of it. Doesn't mean that's the best solution, right? So, and ISACA will be testing that a lot in the CISA exam. So you are not choosing fastest solution. Instead, you are looking at the best control, right? Misreading keywords like most appropriate, best, first, primary, good. You will have to avoid misreading these words. They have to be, of course, in context. The answer for best might be different from the answer for what's it called? Another keyword, right? You understand? So best, primarily, first, just be able to interpret them in context of the question, right? And then a lot of times people don't balance speed and accuracy, right? You want to be overly, you are spending too much time on the question and you're not conscious of the speed, or you are too fast and you're not conscious of accuracy. So I do that. We'll get to time management in the course of this presentation. So you have to balance well your speed level and your accuracy. It has to be checked. Both have to be well balanced so that you can pass at the end of the day. Okay. I think IoT would. Okay, recommended resources, question answer database. IoT would deal with this. I think that I've seen questions around this. So recommended resources, your question and answer database is very critical. We'll get there. Goal, you must understand why answers are correct and wrong respectively. It's not just to know when you are preparing, oh, this answer is wrong, correct, I've gotten it. No, you must understand why it is correct. Because that understanding, you must have it when you study. In your study, you are studying why a particular answer. Because in your database, you have the database for questions. Then the answers are also in that same database. For every answer, there is explanation why on that database, right? On why those questions, the answer is correct, right? So you must study why it is correct. It goes beyond the fact that I got this. You could have gotten it by maybe by playing. You understand? What's it called? You could have gotten it that way, right? So you have to understand in course of preparation, why did I get it? Why was this answer correct? You might think that what you thought was the reason why you chose the answer might be different from why ISACA says correct. So those understanding is part of the learning. It's rigorous, and you have to give yourself to it. And even the other options that are wrong, you must understand why they are wrong. So what I used to do, I have a jotter, I have a big higher education jotter. So for every question I'm studying, I'm not just think, okay, I've marked my score. No, after marking my score, that's the first phase. I carry that jotter again. I'm studying each of those, what's it called? Question answer. The correct ones. I'm studying it. If I need to go back to the concept in my manual, right? In the domain manual, I'll go back to reference it. If I need to study that entire concept all over again, I'll look at it all over again. That's the study required. I'll look at it all over again. If I need to. Looking at the wrong questions, I'm studying each of those wrong answers, choices, why it is not correct. And I'm studying a situation that could make it correct. Because this knowledge is critical and it builds your confidence before it also increases your accuracy rates when you attempt further questions. So the targets, of course, before you even of course, I even do any CISA, of course, any of ISACA exam, CISA in this contest, you must study answer at least 1,500 to 2,000 questions. Of course, this is possible because on that study bank, that question and answer database, there are enough questions, right? Of course, the paper one, I know I also, of course, subscribe to, there's a digital one where you could, of course, also study at different formats. You could do mock exams, you could do study per domain, and this kind of rigorous what's it called, understanding of why question is correct, why the answer is correct, why the answer is wrong has to also follow. Whether it is paper QA database you are using or you are using a digital one, you must still go through the same rigor. And your benchmark for you to be ready, right? You must score above 85%. You attempt, for instance, you're attempting 150 questions. We'll get to exam environment, right? How you can simulate exam environment. 150 questions, of course, you are simulating that and you are timing yourself, right? That means you are timing yourself within that 4 hours, how many questions you can attempt. But by the time you are scoring 85% consistently, I think, of course, consistently you are satisfied. But in my case, I put in the extra, right? I gave myself so what I was scoring like 95, 96, right? In my plan, in my question and answer, whatever, practice sessions, then I feel I'm ready. And all of these things they are not done in isolation to the class. I mean, that means while the class is going on, right, weekends, you are also studying. All of this will go. That means it's a daily consistent study. It's a daily, at least we should make up our mind to solve at least 30 to 50 CISA questions every day. That's the minimum. Like at least you must lay your hands on 50 CISA questions every day, consistently. You are coming to the class, you are ready, you are hot, right? You are able to, of course, when the tutor is coming to the class, of course, dishing out the knowledge, giving you the context, giving you the whatever passing questions everybody's like, this guy is probably bad, but they don't know the hard work you are putting. What's it called? On a Monday to Friday, while everybody is, of course, just living into coming to the class, you are consistent. And by the time the class is ending, after the 3-month period, you are ready for the exams. You are ready. And maybe if you are taking a 1-month time period, it's just so that you can finalize your revision and every other thing. You do your mock exams, you are straight to the CISA exam and you dust it. right? So it is hard work, but that hard work is something that can be replicated, right? It's something that is possible. Hard work, it guarantees success, right? At the end of the day, right? So that's it. Okay, so of course we talked about multiple mock examinations, right? You can simulate exam conditions where you can have 150 questions, 4 hours, no distractions. You know that you are doing multiple things. No, don't distract. 4 hours, these 4 hours, they know me. When it comes to everybody, my kids, my wife, everybody stays off my lane. I'm somewhere in my study. I'm studying for the exams. 4 hours, for the next 4 hours, nobody distracts me. Nobody comes near my my space, right? Because everybody knows what is at stake, right? So the benefit is that you are able to practice time management. You are building endurance. That means you are building that actual exam environment. Because you understand, you know, as a boy, you of course the exam is 4 hours. You are answering to 4 hours, right? It's rigorous, right? But you have to endure because that strength, that endurance, you have built it over time. You've done like multiple mock practice mock exam. You have built it over time, so it becomes something. It's not new. You've been through that, right? You're able to identify certain weaknesses, right? Weaknesses across each of those domains. You're able to understand in each of those domains, and you're able to go back to each of those concepts. You have to study them, right? And you're able to attend more questions in that domains. Of course, you can now segment those domains. Okay, I want to do mock exam in this domain. I just want to 150 questions in this domain, and you're able to over time before you now do the mixed mock exams across different domains, and you're able to practice better. So these things are possible, right? They are things people have replicated, right? There are things people have replicated, and of course there are people who are trained and who've seen that testimony about them over time, right? Okay, so this is just like a sketch of a 14-week study plan, right? You're doing week 1 to 2, you're studying. Of course, you have your study notes, or you have notes from the classes, right? And then you have your practice questions, right? All of these are incorporated into your study. 1 week, within 2 weeks, you are covering domain 1, 3 to 4 weeks, domain 2, right? Your 5 to 6 weeks, domain 3, right? This is just, of course, the average period, right? Domain 4, 7 to 8 weeks, domain 5, 9 to 10 weeks, as in week 9 to 10, right? Week 11, you're doing your revision. Week 12, practice questions. It doesn't mean you've not been doing practice questions in your week 1, of course, the week 1 to week 10, right? But it's just you are intensifying your practice questions now. That means everything you're doing is practice questions. Week 13, practice questions. Practice questions. If you need to take a leave from office, okay, please do, right? Okay. All right, let me just round up. Okay, so exam day strategy: stay calm, be focused, go for the, of course, manage your time strictly, right? Review questions properly. Okay, we've talked about this in your exam time management. 150 questions for 240 minutes. That means you must time yourself 1.6 minutes. At every 1.6 minutes or 90 seconds, maximum you spend on each questions. At every 1 hour, just check. You must be on question number 38. If you are not, then you have to just double up, right? Your time. You know, we talked about balancing accuracy and speed, right? Don't get stuck. Provide your best response to questions and move on, right? Common reasons why people fail. Of course, we will not fail, right? They memorize questions. You do memorize questions. There's no two CISA. CISA doesn't repeat questions. You don't memorize questions. Understand the concepts. Don't memorize questions, right? Ignoring governance topics. Governance topic is very critical. Some skip practice questions. I've emphasized on it, right? Studying only technical concepts. No, that's not the way to go, right? It's a balanced concept. Not understanding ISACA language. We've talked about that. Very critical. Of course, we've talked about resources. IoT would explain this critically to us. So the takeaway from this is success is understand. You must understand the concepts. You must practice. You must have the ISACA audit mindset, and your time management is very critical. You think like an auditor. Practice ISACA style questions daily. It's rigorous, right? Focus on governance and risk. Focused revision. Have a focused revision plan. Use mock exams heavily, right? Of course, strategy matters more than memorization, right? Thank you very much. I think that's the end of this sharing. Thank you. I wish you all the best.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. So, considering the time, we would like to actually move on to the next section. Rachel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so moving on to our next session. I know we promised to end at 1 p.m., so please bear with us while we work on wrapping up. So the next session will be taken by Mr. Damilola Adetui. He'll be talking about his experience as he's already CISA certified. So he wants to tell us how he went through the process in attaining this certification. So Mr. Damilola, are you here? Hello, Mr. Damilola.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. The floor is yours. Please, you have just 10 minutes. Please, we're working with time.
I said 5 minutes. Why give me 10 minutes?
Oh, okay. Oh, 5 minutes then.
Okay. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So I think all has been said. So let me just proceed quickly. All right. So once again, good afternoon. I'm excited to actually be here. All right. So I'm here to just share my my CISA journey with you. All right. So so before I became a CISA professional, right, I was once like you, right, sitting where you are today, okay, trying to understand what this certification meant, and whether I was capable of passing and how it was going to impact my career. Okay, so so currently, my name is Damilola Richard Adetui, and I currently work as an IT audit manager with an insurance company. Practically, I've had like 7 to 8 years experience in IT audits. All right, so and I obtained my CISA some 5 years ago. So like I was saying earlier, like whether I was capable of passing CISA exam, okay. Just like every other person had mentioned that, which you would also see that speakers that I've spoken so far, I've told you that most of them do not have the IT background. All right, same here as well. All right, so I'm a child accountant. All right, so I studied finance in school and I graduated. I became a child accountant before switching over to CISA or ISACA. I didn't have any IT certification. All right, so that just proves to you that you don't need to be an IT guru before you pass exam. Okay, so so why did I choose CISA? All right, so CISA was for me was not just another certification. Like I mentioned, I already had my ACA. I was a child accountant before coming for CISA, so it just represented for me transitioning. I was just very curious, all right, understanding technology, all right, how technology supports businesses, all right, how we manage risk, and how does IT audit itself create value. Okay, so my transition to IT audit was based on curiosity of understanding how systems actually work. Okay, which I believe is also possible for most of us here who are also trying to transition to IT audits, all right, which is very possible because your curiosity would actually help you a lot. Understanding that your curiosity in helping to understand how systems work, how some of us just know that I send money and the money delivers at the other hand. How does all of this technology, how do I get alert? All those things, they are just intertwined there. So your curiosity would help you understand, and that is how you're able to now spot risk as an IT auditor. So there's always this saying that what you do not understand in audits, right? What you do not understand, you cannot audit. Okay, so when you understand a particular process, a technology or system, then you are able to audit effectively. So let me just speak to my CISA preparation because of time. So for CISA preparation, like other examiners have said, we have 5 domains, all right, which has been listed. I'll just say that CISA is not a memorization exam. So I could remember that when I also had classes just like you, all right. So I had classes with the tuition center just like you, and what I did during my time was that at every point in time when we have classes like that, I just like the way you write it, I go back to study what we have been taught in class. Okay, So I don't wait till the end of the 3-month lecture to now say, oh, I want to start gathering my books. All right. So I was already reading those concepts. I was already reading those from domain 1 straight down to domain 5. All right. So what we are taught in domain 1, and I go over it. By the time we are having the next tutor coming in, I already have my questions waiting. All right. So before we commence, we are given the opportunity to, all right, ask those questions, and then I'm able to ask. Then I get clarity to those answer. All right. So, and those difficult concepts, which one thing I would also say would also help with that, you would also need to have some independent mindset. Okay. What concept? Some difficult topics. All right. So you always have your tutors. All right. You always have some other research materials that you can always consult to ensure that you understand the concept. CISA is about you understanding the topics. Okay. So going by that, for me, because I was able to follow up through each of the domains, for me, my case is kind of a bit different from some other people. I wrote my CISA exam before finishing the exam, before finishing my tuition. All right, I was supposed to have 3 months, so 2 months and some weeks into going the lecture, I tried the CISA exam and I passed on one sitting. Okay, so which is why I would normally say that it is very possible for anybody, even before you even finish the exam, you can say, oh, I'm geared up, let me go and write this exam, and it's very possible for you to pass as long as you follow through with whatever you have been lectured in class, you ask questions and all of that. Okay, so what I would just say is that as you are moving into the class, following up with the lectures, and then going back on, you still need to do a lot of self-study, go back on your own and read over those material again. And of course, you have the CISA Q&A, all right, for you, which also enables you to put yourself in that exam mode, practice 150 questions at a sitting. All right, no stretch. You are preparing your mindset for that exam. 150 questions at a stretch, 150 questions at a stretch. All right, so that puts you in that exam position such that when you get to the exam day, you are already in that exam mode and like, okay, between the next 4 hours or in the next 3 to 4 hours, I am facing this exam, no distraction. All right, so just like others have said, what is important, your tuition is very important. Attend classes, then do some self-study yourself that helps you to understand the concept. That's secondly, and then thirdly, you also need to do a lot of Q&A. All right, you do a lot of Q&A. You can also have, like me, then I had like 2-3 friends which we were able to do some study groups together, and to also to help us to easily. But I think we're just 3 or 4. I was the first to attempt the exam then, and I passed. So I followed by my other colleague. Once one person did, the other boy, we actually geared up to go for the exam. All right. So so what I would just say is that, so post CISA, all right. So we've discussed pre-CISA, during CISA, and post CISA for career impact, right? So this has actually helped a lot. Okay, so it has helped me personally, all right, to build credibility, all right, and also move into better roles, all right. So because, for instance, where you see some roles around IT Audit, you will see them requesting for CISA certification, all right. That is how much of a deal it is for you as an IT auditor, all right. So it has actually helped build credibility and moved into better roles, and of course better pay, right, which is what all of us actually aim to, right? So so I would also just say that CISA is a door opener, all right. So it's a door opener for many of us trying to transition into IT audits. But your curiosity, all right, your continuous learning, okay. So I remember just of some minutes now, Mr. Dai was mentioning around when he's reading for his exam, nobody is coming to disturb him. Okay, so it just means that there's that part of continuous learning, right? Being dedicated to what you are reading. So I can say for a fact that even after you finish the CISA exam, you still have some, there are some concepts that you can still always reference back in the CISA manner. When you start working as an IT auditor, you now remember that, oh, I remember that when we were doing CISA exam, when I was in my CISA, I remember that we had this discussion. Okay, this is what you're talking about. Oh, okay, all right. So it now makes more sense that, okay, this is also, you can always ref. So that's what I'm saying, that there's a part of, it's a door opener, but there's this part of curiosity and there's a part of continuous learning, which will now enable you to apply that knowledge to create value to whatever organization that that you meet yourself. Okay. So what I'll just round up is, because of time, is that so this is my advice to every CISA aspirant here today, is that the thing is to start. Okay, just start. So you do not need to know everything before you begin. All right, but if you start saying you want to know what this is or what everything is all about, you might find yourself staying behind. And I see people already doing what people that you feel that people that are not even up to, they don't have the capacity of what you are doing. They're already starting and they're already going ahead. All right. So what I'll just advise everyone here is that start. All right. So you don't need to know everything before you begin. All right. So because the CISA journey itself, it will help you to build your knowledge, discipline, and confidence as you go along the CISA training sessions with the tutors. You will get to understand, because we are going to teach, because the way the exam, the tuition you are going to have for the next 3 months has been designed to be very practical for you to really understand what the exam actually is. All right, breaking down those concepts for it so that you can have that confidence to actually challenge the exam. All right, so CISA is not just about you passing the exam. All right, so when you now pass the exam, it is now becoming somebody who can now provide assurance, manage technology risk, and contribute to better decisions in the organization. Because trust me, when you now become an IT auditor, the whole board of directors and the management are resting on your shoulders to give assurance that whatever systems that you are using within the organization, that those systems are working effectively, and not only working effectively, that managers can drive value for whatever system they are actually implementing. So you are going to be giving a lot of assurance to the manager. But first and foremost is to start. All right. So start with the session, and then with the practicals that we are going to be having, we'll be sure of passing the exam, and then we now start looking at how to provide assurance to the management and to the board of directors and the organization was at large. So what I would just say to wrap up is that CISA exam is I won't say it's easy, but it's about preparation, just like you've heard other tutor mention. So it's about a lot of preparation. All right. So, and I can assure you that once you are able to follow through with what the tutor are going to be taking in classes, with the materials and the Q&A, then you are very much good to go. All right. So CISA exam is an easy task when you put in the effort. All right. So thank you very much. Rachel, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Damilola. Thank you so much. Like you all heard, the main thing is for you to believe in yourself. Once you can believe in yourself, anything is achievable. If all of our speakers could write their exams in one sitting, then you can. So to the last speaker for the day, we'll be calling on the head of our technical department here at IOT Academy, Tutors, for his presentation. Hi, Tutors, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Olatubosun Adeoye, the head of IT at IOT Academy. So in order not to waste so much of our time, I'll be sharing my screen to show you around our website. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so here is our website, icanonlinetutors.com or iot.com.ng. So this is the home page, and you can also check out the browse courses to see some of the courses we offer. So here they are. You can browse through them and see all the courses we offer here. Then okay, let me go back to the home page. So you can check out about us here as well, or if you would like to contact us, you can check that out here as well. So for new user, all you have to do is sign up. While for existing users, those who already have an account on our website, just simply click on login. So I'll be logging into my account just to show you. Okay, so here is my dashboard. So for instance, for my account, these are the courses I've enrolled in. So for some people, you might not see this immediately. You might see this browse courses page. So all you have to do is click on your profile name at the top right here, then go to the dashboard, and you will see the courses you are enrolled in. Yeah, so I'll be using one of them as an example. So to play the videos, all you have to do is just click on this Start Now button. So you get to see the contents in here. You have the all contents. These are the contents we have. So these are the videos. We also have videos here you can check out. Then also we have quizzes and flashcards which you all can explore to support your studies. So here they are. We have quizzes, and we also have flashcards. So let me show you an example of the flashcards. So this is a flashcard for one of the ICAN courses. So you can view explanations, hide explanation, view them topics by topics. Likewise, the quizzes as well. So the quizzes, after taking the quizzes, you get to see the answers, the correct answers, and explanation of the ones you got wrong. So these are helpful resources that you can make use of just to support your studies and make you pass your exams. I would like to show you guys. Okay, I think that's basically all for the website. So I would like to take you guys' time. So let me share my screen for my phone just to show you around the mobile app. So just give me a few seconds, please.
Okay, so while we wait for Tutors to share his mobile screen, also take note that we have a free CISA practice quiz on our website, iot.com.ng. So you can enroll in it. It's free for now. So it's free for now. Just if you want to try yourself, test yourself, maybe you've been preparing for the exams, or you think you might know some things about IS audit you want to attempt, it is free at the moment. You can also, if you are also in the CISA waitlist, we are happy to drop the link for you to enroll and try it. So yeah, that is it. Rachel, I think you should also share the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp this thing in the chat. The WhatsApp waitlist, CISA waitlist.
Okay.
Yeah, so share it on WhatsApp for those that would like to join. You can join the waitlist, but the waitlist doesn't mean that's where the classes will be. We have a separate group for those that have paid and have enrolled. We have a separate group on WhatsApp. The waitlist is just for us to share more information, answer questions, and everything. So But of course, we have a free CISA quiz, and we are also updating it with flashcards now also. But if you want to test yourself, feel free to explore it.
Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so here is our mobile app, and it's available on both Play Store and Apple Store. All you have to do is search for IOT Academy. So same process for new user. Let me log out. Same process for new user. Sign up. You don't have an account yet. Then for existing user, so for existing user, all you have to do is just log into your account. Sorry, a moment, please. Okay, so this is your home page. If you are enrolled in a course, you get to see the courses at the top here, where we have my courses. So here are all the courses I'm enrolled for this account. And for these top courses, these are some of the other courses we offer, which you can browse through and enroll if you like. Then you can also search for courses by categories here. So we have different categories for each courses by plans, levels, and the like, so you can check them out. Then as well, you can use the search as well to search for whichever courses which you are interested in. So you can search for it here. Then you can enroll as well. So likewise, for the courses you are enrolled in, you can also access them right here from this My Courses down here by clicking My Courses here. So you get to see the all courses you are enrolled in here. So, same process, how you access the videos on the website. You just click on the course, then you see all the contents. You have video lectures. So these are the videos, and play through the lesson materials. So you also have lesson materials to view here. Then also the quizzes and flashcards are also available on the mobile app as well. So here are the quizzes. These are the quizzes. Get to answer the questions, and when you are done, you get to see the answers of the ones you got wrong and also the explanation. So here are the answers, these are the explanations. You can also decide to retake the quiz if you like. Same as the flashcard as well. You have flashcards or courses. So here's how it works. Click on show explanation to view the explanation. Click on show questions to see the question again. Then for people, we have 3 plans, which are basic, standard, and premium. For people who enrolled in standard and premium, they have access to download the videos on the mobile app here for offline study. And here is the download icon by the side here. So you just get to click on download. So once you are done with the download, my network is a bit slow at the moment. So you see the yes, so it's downloading now. My network is a bit bad here. So after downloading the videos and lesson notes, you get to see them here by clicking on account, then go to the download section. I don't have the downloads yet, so let me see if I'm able to log into my other account so you can check it. So in order not to waste so much of our time, I think we've seen how that works. And if you have any issues concerning accessing videos or materials, then you can reach out to us via our support line, and we'll be ready to assist you concerning any issues.
Okay, thank you so much, Tuboso. So I don't know if anyone has any question based on our last 3 sessions, the session on our learning management system, or for those tutors who shared their personal experiences taking the CISA exam. Is there anyone who has a question before we call it a day? Okay, Simeon Abo, please go ahead. Okay, maybe that might have been a mistake. Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of today's program. And if you have any question or you'd like to make inquiry, you can look through the chat box for our customer support line, and I'll also call it out for you. 070-4457-6011. I'll take that again, 070-4457-6011. You can reach out to our customer support team for any question. And we've also dropped the link to our CISA waitlist for those persons who would like to know more about our CISA classes. We've dropped the link on the chat box. So kindly click on the link to join the group. Our CISA classes will be kicking off officially on the 4th of July. So you can join our CISA waitlist group and also reach out to our customer support team for more inquiries. And for those persons who would also like to have a feel on how CISA is, you can check out our website on iot.com.ng to familiarize yourself with our CISA quizzes and our flashcards. Thank you so much, everyone. And I do hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And yes, please, for ICAN members, don't forget to fill out the form. Please fill out the form. Check the chat box for the form.
Not only ICAN members. Everyone that attended should fill the form. Yeah.
Yes, please. Don't forget to fill the form, or
But
you can reach out
ICAN
to
members, make sure you put your ICAN membership number so that you can get the MPCD credits.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Do have a lovely day.
Benjamin Chuku, you can always send a message to our customer support line. We would answer you. Or you can drop it in the CISA waitlist group.